Welcome, everyone. We are here. It is time. The pregame show on August 20th. We have got a very, very special final table of the GG Millions. Over 1.4 million going to first, a million to second. Crazy day. Mike Wasserman joins us, sixth time on the show. There's a look at his live earnings. Very impressive online, too. Over 9.4 million in earnings. And Mike, man, great to have you back. This is a very special edition. WSOP Online has started. So much is happening in poker. What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good. Just getting into the post-World Series of Poker routine. Going to be doing a lot of studying. Not as much playing, but yeah, coaching, studying, that kind of thing, and some relaxing.
Well, I know you're the co-creator of Mid-Stakes Mastery. We're going to talk about that later in the show, but we're going to dive in, take a look at what is going on today and what happened last week as well. We had a week off the week before. We saw a new winner join the GGMillion champion as I believe NN28 took down David Yan, who has done a very, very, very impressive bit of work in his poker career. As you see a hand here in the battle, NN28, both about the same stack. David going to get involved on the button and heads up play as the king queen suited makes top pair. So pretty nice, just check call, makes top two pair, slips it over to David, I believe, or did he even come out leading here? He did come out leading for half pot. River makes the possible flush, and he does check now with top two pair. And David, I think it got a little out of hand. There's only 2 million in change in the pot. I forget how the stacks got in. This was, again, a week before prior. And David just rips it in with the Jack 10 in a club. The perfect kind of bluffing hand there. Misses the straight, has a club, decides to go for it. And NN28 gets his tournament title. Very exciting to get the win there as we see a all-time ranking for the GG Millions. This final table today has some of the biggest names in the game, but none of these players, as you see Archer there, still with 10 titles, Mr. Adamo with 8. Pretty crazy statistics, 37 million in GG earnings for Adamo. Someone we thought we might get to see at this final table. There was a big name. We're going to talk about that. Ape Styles did come up just a bit short. I know you said you were sweating that. He streams, and that was going to be a treat for us potentially, but we didn't get to see him. And we're going to be talking about the favorites. We're going to talk about some hands today, and we're going to take a look at the profiles of the players today as well. So we're going to go ahead and look here. I mean, Mike, what do you see in this payout structure? 170 for ninth, all the way up to 1.4 million. Sort of flat. Any pay jumps? Any part of the pay structure here stand out to you?
It's a lot up top. First of all, nothing crazy. I actually think this is a pretty good pay structure. I think it's fairly top heavy, but the pay jumps aren't like too big on any one given pay jump. I don't know. I think it's actually a nice payout structure.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of hard to please everyone. You know, there's this whole thing about, do you want to have balance? Do you want to pay more spots? Do you want more to first? Those old school payouts we used to see where it was like double second, but I think it's pretty juicy all around and pretty nice there. You get to see Simon Matson making the final table. Someone I thought maybe was on the all-time ranking leaderboard, but he isn't on that list. He is known as maybe the best to ever do it in online poker. One of those players that just gets that kind of respect. You can see the appearances here, cashes, has a win, 14 final tables, and then you can see that's in this season alone. I mean, 3-time winner overall, and also gets in for satellites. Not too proud to come in for less and find value there. Almost 20 million looking across that mark today in GG earnings. As we take a look at our next player in 8th place, we'll go over to Alexander Zubov. I'm not as familiar with him. Pretty impressive on GG, but not in the GG Millions. Hasn't been quite as of a fixture. Do you have any experience with him? Do you know much about him?
No, not personally.
Yeah,
there's a couple of players that I'm familiar with, or a lot of players at this table, but
yeah, and I think we had almost 900 entrants in this 10K, so going to be one of those things where there are some unknown names, and of course very impressive when we do see some of the more known names come through. As we will take a look at our next player here. He has 18 blinds, still plenty to work with, and Hazuzuka, who has taken down the GG Millions as well, 2 final tables, and is someone that is definitely willing to go for it. As you can see, his stack, 22 blinds, a little bit shorter, still enough to play, and again, huge jumps all the way through. Going to be exciting to see if one of the shorter stacks can get in. We're going to look at the betting odds a little later, kind of see what the odds are placed in the GG client to win, maybe a little value in some of these shorter stacks as we take a look at the next player in our final table lineup. Levi Strauss, referencing the jeans. Don't think that's a real name. That's a fun name, and not necessarily a fun player. 28 big blinds, never been in the GG Millions. You can see there 1.6 million in the earnings for GG, but not so much experience in these 10K buy-ins. So we'll see if that is going to shell shock him or if he's going to go for it. And only his third appearance in the GG Millions. As we take a look at Pavel Plezov. I mean, this guy, his live resume is so impressive. He has done so much in so many events. This guy knows how to play, knows how to win, won majors, and you can see here he has also got it done. What's your experience with Pavel? Have you got to play with him some?
Only watching him on this stream, really. Familiar with the name, know he is someone that is very capable of closing the tournament out. And yeah, playing for the win. I think that's an important part of final table strategy, is being willing to go for it, especially in these big field tournaments where, like we saw, first place is 1.4 million. The last couple of shows that I've done with you, that was like the full prize pool, you know? And right now, first place is the total prize pool of the previous one. So
it is
a big,
crazy.
Big
these
shot.
Special edition, we see some of these numbers, some of the stats, the players that run up these huge earnings, and some of the players in the GG Million, which we're going to see at this final table too, they've hit some of the biggest ones. Like they're here, it's like the 1.4, 1.5 to first, and they find their way here for big scores. We're going to take a look at some of the other players. Definitely Pavel, one of the ones to watch. I think he is someone that, you know, he's always capable when he's at a final table to get it done. And this guy, Barack Wisbrod, we've been singing his praises, seen more of him lately, has a really impressive resume, and did get that win as well in the GG Millions 2023. You can see in July, not too long ago. So someone we've seen a lot of, 93 times playing, really impressive in the money, a lot of final tables, capable, dangerous, plays high stakes cash as well. Have you battled with Barack?
I've not played with him, but I'm familiar with him from
all right, well, this player I know you do know. This is AP. Hey Allison, known on in the former times of online poker, and here repping his real name as a tough one to pronounce, but I'm going with AP. That's a nice watch, and he's a nice player. See if he can get his win. No GG Million earnings, 20 appearances, and he has got a cool 3 million plus in GG earnings. And again, a very accomplished player. And we've been seeing him more often. What about your experience with him? I think you said you know him personally.
Yeah, he's been stepping it up for like the last couple years, and he has kind of like Yuri, you know, the nerd guy, has his group of people. Alisson has his group of people that he plays with as well, and studies with. And I don't want to blow him up too much, like, you know, who exactly he swaps with and stuff, but he's around some really good players and very capable. And he also, I think he won the 210 mystery bounty not too long ago, that massive field one on GG. So he's definitely gotten through some huge fields. I spent some time with him at the World Series this year. He's one of my good friends from Brazil, along with Yuri.
Cool. Well, you know, I got a soft spot for Brazilians, and here it is. Brazil row, 3 of the best. Yuri there, Bruno, and here he goes. This is 7-handed. You can see some pretty big stacks. Brock has 12 million at this point. You look at the blinds, 45, 90K, 7-handed, opens ace jack off. And to me, this is what defines poker players, these type of hands. And I haven't seen this hand play out yet. We're going to watch it through here. He opens ace jack off. It's easier to play kings, queens, ace king suited, you know, pocket pairs, how to play them. But these type of hands, ace jack off, out of position, getting 3-bet from a guy that you know is very capable. Tough hand. How would you proceed here?
Well, the first thing we do is look at, you know, the effective stack sizes. And Alisson is opening off of just under 25 bigs-ish. I would think that he doesn't have a not all-in 4-bet sizing here. That would be my first instinct. But he actually has a not all-in 4-bet. So I'm wondering, also, he knows Bruno. So there could be some type of leveling war in this spot that we're not familiar with.
Well,
this is
2
wild.
million. I mean, it's pretty crazy. This is awkward when you have 1.3 behind. The hand's already kind of out of control. You got ace jack off. You're out of position. He goes for a small bet here into 2 million, about 10%, a little less. Tell me your thoughts. What he's trying to accomplish here.
Well, he's supposed to be balanced here with his bluffs and his value, and he actually does have some bluffs because he has the ace jack, I guess.
Wow.
I'm kind of surprised that Bruno doesn't just peel one. He must have had like a suited ace in this spot where it had like very little equity, like ace 4 suited or something. And he just couldn't continue. He didn't even have like, ace 4 spades or something where he just, but even these hands can peel for 10% pot because a lot of times in these late stages of tournaments, all your bet sizings become based off of stack sizes rather than pot size.
Right.
So the immediate price that you're getting is less important than how many chips you have left. So, yeah, go ahead.
Tell me that. So in that particular hand, before we're going to take a look at one of Juan's hands in a second here, tell me about that specifically. That how that works. So I mean that just seems like. I mean, that's a crazy spot. What is he is he putting him on that? Like hoping to fold those type of hands? Because I'm obviously ace jack off. You get called. You're out of position a lot in the middle. It's not. Is he going to barrel off that ace jack off? Do you think on a lot of turn cards as played?
If he picks up a bunch of equity, sure. But I actually think I'm not really sure at these stakes with these guys. Like he's improved so much over the last couple years that he's in a different like league than I am. Well, I would assume
that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Listen, we're over here. We're watching. We're taking notes. I know at home it's fun to see these guys, and it's also amazing. I think in this pregame to get to see some of the hands, not just the final table. Like that is a massive spot. He is putting it on the line with ace jack. He's out of position. He's tangoing, going for the win. Just continuation betting and getting a fold there with the uncomfortable spot. Really big pickup there. He is our third place contestant right now. We're going to get to the betting odds here after we see a couple more hands. Take a look at one of Juan Pardo Dominguez's ridiculous resume, 2-time GGMillion winner, plays the highest stakes live, 22 million in earnings on GG. That is just so ridiculous. Honestly, it's just insane. He has 143 appearances, 37 cashes, 14 final tables, and we're going to get to see one of his hands here. We're going to take a look what happened. So how did he get to second? How is he in this spot playing for 7 figures today? Let's take a look at his hand that was a little bit of a different situation, shorter stacked. Earlier in the tournament, you can see based on the other chip stacks, it wasn't as deep, but he does have a 500K stack at 12.5, 25K. So 20 big blind stack out of the big blind with the modest holding. Let's see how this plays out. 6-7 off. Very, very curious how even, I guess, yeah, okay. So we get a Cypress flag that I'm not as familiar with. I can't see ding. These are, he opens mid-raise.
Yeah, with that Hey Alice in hand, I think he was giving up on a lot of turns because Bruno shouldn't have a lot of flats in that spot off of those stack sizes. But if he picked up equity, he was definitely going to go with it because the SPR was so low. But those are spots I'm not familiar with where people are just... I wouldn't even know how to proceed because I would never expect there to be a flatting range, really.
Well, he does proceed 6-7 off. He's got a heart, 8-4-3, 2 hearts. He is out of position in a very important pot again, 20 blinds, very dicey. I mean, I would say if you're going to think about a flop, you're defending, it's not super fun when you just kind of don't absolutely smoke it, but he does have a pretty decent flop for the big blind range. He has a gut shot, 6-7 could be live, backdoor hearts. Always important to have, you never know when you need a little extra equity. Let's see what he comes with, maybe a check raise, or does he just call? He does just call, makes sense. Picks up one of the better cards, right? He gets now a open-ended straight draw and a heart that could be good. And this goes by both ways though, right? You could be dead, or you could you pick up a lot of equity. What are your thoughts here? You check it over to the razor.
This is kind of the problem with check calling in these spots. I'm sure that Juan is mixing here between check raise and check call. And that's going to depend on his opponent's tendencies. Check calling is rough when you're playing against out of position against a stack that is willing to put some pressure on you with some semi bluffs here. So I would assume if he's willing to check call and get this turn, that he's going to have to mix some check jams or check raises on the turn instead of putting himself in a spot where he turns open-ended with, not a good flush draw. And he just has too much equity really to fold. So yeah, he calls. Now he has showdown value, and now might be a spot where he's gonna get a little sticky. I mean, we know he's at the final table, so we kind of know the results. He somehow finds a way to win the hand. He's probably gonna end up facing some aggression here and finding a call. There's a bunch of like 10x with a heart, you know, like king 10 with a heart, queen 10 with a heart, ace 10 with a heart. I mean, there could even be like, I don't know how out of line Ding Bao is, but he has such a massive chip lead that he's going to have the widest range, and this is probably the best player at the table to be heroing against, just based off those factors. He can also have a hand like ace 5 with a heart. Yeah, I mean, we could just go down the list, but there's definitely hands that he beats now with the 7-6.
Well, again, this is a real hand, right? This is not for the faint of heart. This is not an easy decision. You're just dead sometimes. He just shows you whatever flush. As you said, a wide range. You're going to have bluffs, also going to have some more flushes than others, opening super wide. He's going to have some random hands that just beat you that are for value, or opening hands that does call, and there he is, Queen Jack with the heart. Pretty nice bluff candidate, right? If you're Ding. Queen Jack, like, you got the gutter, the over, the heart was good, and he follows through. Also has he's got a nice, I like how both players play their hand, but that's high level. Well, I'm putting on the line, and here he is in second place, playing for 1.4 million with a big score locked up in an amazing spot. And the only person that has got a better spot at the moment, roughly similar, has over 100 big blinds. DK, this guy is everywhere. He has got 2 wins. I want to say he was heads up for another win recently. He's got 4 final tables. Feel like he's come out of nowhere. Has the Triton score for over 3 million. I believe he took second in Montenegro for the, I think it was 3 million not long ago, just now at the Triton Montenegro. So in the 125K main event, the guy's on fire, playing great. And let's take a look at what his hand was, a key hand for him to make it to this final table. I mean, he is again, queen 5 off, 16 million. You can see just a ridiculous lead at this moment, and it's some of the biggest names here. Barak has obviously made it. Yuri, someone we've seen many times and take down so many tournaments, and Pavel also at this final table. Let's see here, pretty deep, 125, 250. This might even have been, was this near the final table bubble, or let's see, this is 2, 3, so 4, 6-handed. Yeah, maybe 12, 13 left, or 12 and 11. Getting close to the final table, I imagine, with these stacks and his stack size. So let's see what happens. Queen 5 off. Yuri going to open min raise. Queen 5 in the big blind. And does Pavel get involved? I doubt it, right? If we see in the hand, it's just going to be they're folding. He's going to call or raise. I guess, you know, the Queen 5 off, we do see some players mix in some big little unsuited sort of aggression. But let's see how he proceeds here.
I think we see more 3-betting than flatting here, this hand.
Yeah, that's definitely, like we're saying, is a mix.
But what do we know?
Sometimes just gonna flop bottom 2, defend the Queen 5-0 against Yuri, and get a very nice flop. And it is hold'em, hard to make a pair. You got to feel good with 2 pair, but bottom 2 always scary. Very wet board, meaning a lot of draws. Jack 10, Jack 9 suited, Ace 10, Ace Jack are gut shots. You got the club draw. He has no club, no Jack, no 10, no Ace. So again, feeling good. Obviously, going against that size from Yuri. Let's see if he's going to go ahead and check raise or just call. He does cover significantly, likely check raising, but look at this man. He's even telling Yuri, he's saying emergency 911, brother, get out, save yourself. It's an emergency. What does Yuri got? What's he do though? He pops it up. Again, chip leader, wide range, defending the big blind. So, you know, Yuri knows all these things. He's going to call 4 on the turn, a brick to both players from their perspective.
It's going to be interesting to see what sizing he chooses here, because Yuri has 4.1 and there's 3.1 in the middle. Like, does he try to squeeze more value, or does he go a little bit more with equity denial? Does he try to balance by like shoving and making?
Yeah, I would guess he's gonna go big, just thinking like it's either a draw, and if Yuri does have, he could hero, like it just, he's gonna be so wide. He knows that, and he's actually got value here. I think I like the shove. Basically a pot, a little over pot.
Unblocking top pair is like pretty good.
Wow. Calls it off with the, I mean, you can't blame him. You got pair, nut flush draw, and ooh, Yuri probably, that might even have faked out the legend. When you hit the nut flush on the river and it's not against the set, you probably think you won in the blink of an eye. But that is it, 22 million. That knocks down Yuri It's a really tough hand, and I like how, again, both players played. I don't think much you could do different there, as we see how DK extracts value and does have the chip lead at this massive final table. That is your chip leader as we take a look at, again, the top three. We want to look at their hands, want to see kind of some pots that got them to this spot. There's a very good illustration of that. And then the betting odds today. This is within the GG client. Very cool. If you're have a GG real money account, you want to bet on some of the players, you get to see where the odds are. 14 blinds for Simon, 21 to 1, a little bit better than that, almost 4 to 1 for DK, similar for Juan Pardo Dominguez, and AP with big stacks and giving a lot of love to AP, right, at 4.48 with 17 versus 3.98 for DK. Yeah. I don't know if I understand that. DK is second in Triton for 3 million. He's won like 2 of in a second already on the GG Millions recently and playing well. Feels like a not quite the right pricing, and if you're looking for value, maybe something to think about there. But for Mike, for myself and you, why don't we do a little wager as we've been doing with the 100 units? You get 100, I get 100. You pick first. You can bet your 100 how you want across 3 players. You must pick different players. I'll let you go first, audience. If Mike wins, you get $50 GG ticket. If I win, 100 GG ticket. And then we, of course, want to give you guys an opportunity on Twitter, which is out on GGPoker Twitter. You can guess which top 3 you think will happen. It doesn't have to be the right order. They got to be the right top 3, though. So you can do that. That's a $100 ticket. That is on GG. And I, of course, have a $50 live now. So we got 3 giveaways active. And Mike, I'll let you pick first. You got 100 units. Use it how you like. And you gotta wager your first pick.
All right. So I'm gonna have to go with DK at the top. He's getting actually a pretty good price. He's a chip leader coming in, very capable, a lot of experience. So I will put. We get 3 total people to bet on each.
Yeah. So you go first. I'll go second. I'm gonna go chalk there. Juan Pardo with the 4.2. I'll put
I didn't bet an amount, but I'm gonna take DK. Okay. I was just confirming that we have 3.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly
right.
So
I know how to split it up. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go 25 of my points on the chip leader.
Okay. So basically, and that's.
Or I'll go 30. I'll go 30.
30. So if he wins, you get a slight profit on your 100 units total. So I like that. I'm gonna go big on Juan Pardo. I just feel like he's just been here so much. He's got a big deep stack. He's capable. I'll go 50. I want to double my money if he wins. So I'll take 50 on Juan Pardo for my first pick.
All right. I'm gonna go 50. Yeah, I'm gonna go 50 on Allison. Hey, Allison.
That's your friend. He's right up there. I like that. That's nice. I'll go 25 Barack. I'm taking 25 for Barack. Good. 28. I like it. I think he's also in form. I'm gonna go with that.
All right. I'm putting the rest on the GOAT Simon Matson. The long shot.
Wow. What is that? So you bet 50, 20. How much you have left?
20. I put 20 on Matson, 50 on Hey Allison, and 30 on the chip leader DK.
All right, since we got a nice dinner on the line too, I'm going chalk. And Pavel, I know this guy. I've seen him. I play with him live. He's tough. He gets it done. A lot of impressive results. I'm gonna go my last 25 with him. He's got a nice little return if he wins. And then I like our strategy. We're a little bit covered. If one of the top guy wins, you got a little bit bigger. You got a long shot flyer. It's not that fun to break even or make a small amount. So let's see how that turns out. If one of the players that we pick win, it'll still be a $100 ticket for the audience at home. So that is going to be our wagers. Audience, again, you're welcome to participate by guessing your top 3 on GG. You can find the tweet. I'll put it in the chat here shortly. We're going to take a break here in a couple minutes, but we're going to put that in there, and you guys have a chance again at a $100 ticket. So multiple giveaways today, and one of the fun ones. I mean, this is always a treat on the GG Millions, but today, when it's 2 people winning over $1 million, it's just extra exciting. And you got to be. Tell me about your biggest final table, because these don't come around a lot. What's it like when you're playing for a bit of money that you're not used to? How do you approach it? How do you get the nerves out? I mean, this is big. Some of these players probably saw a satellite winner. Someone is like no GG Million earnings, 1.4 million available to win today. What do you do to calm yourself down, Mike?
Well, this is actually with this final table. They have it's 3 days, right? Day 2 was yesterday. Day 1 was Sunday. Day 2 was Monday. And then final table is day 3. This is just like a live tournament, effectively, structure-wise and day-wise. So, for my big deep runs in live tournaments or big final tables, even if it's online, if it's multiple days, one thing that I will always do is I will schedule an emergency session with my mental game coach. I absolutely will not study any poker. I will not inundate myself with information. All of my preparation is already done. You can't prepare anymore. You either are in there with what you know and ready to go, or you're not. It's like a binary thing. So for me, I think it's important that I come into the day with that switch on. I'm in, I'm focused, I'm present, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes at that final table, whether it means, if I'm I'm going to look at, am I out of position on the chip leader? Because if so, I might have to take my medicine for a bit. But if I'm in position or if I have chips, I'm willing to press it a little bit. If I'm out of position on Simon Matson with all the chips or something, like, I'm willing to adjust. So, but those adjustments come with experience for me. So in these types of situations with big final tables, I think it's very important that you focus on the game of poker and not on the dollars, because if you focus on the dollars, it's going to adjust your strategy too much to the point where you could be costing yourself EV. And
It's great advice. I can tell you this. I've played a few 7-figure first final tables in my day, and I got kids now and diaper, all that's real. You can say it, you can talk about it. It's like a big game or the Super Bowl or NBA Finals. You can talk about it, you can be ready, but when it comes down to it, you're seeing stuff that's life-changing money up for grabs, available, that is there for the taking, and it's easier said than done. But the thing you're saying is right.
I agree.
To ground yourself, to give yourself the best chance, mentally prepare, have a coach, meditate, breathe, relax, get your distractions out of the way, close your desktop stuff, and just be locked in. Don't have your chats going everywhere and start thinking about other things. And I think that's something that the best really do. The best just are able to block everything out, lock in, and do that. And I do want to remind everyone, there's a reason this stuff is juiced up. It's a massive prize pool. GG has the WSOP online. Congrats to GG, WSOP. They bought WSOP for $500 million. That was August 1st. And right now, of course, beautiful timing, August 18th to September 30th. 33 bracelet events available for the taking. They've already started. There's massive events, including a 5K main event, 25 mil guarantee, which is just insane. Are you going to get to play some of this, Mike? Are you going to be able to play some of these WSOP online?
Yeah, I will try to play as much as I can, but I have some stuff to do at home, and then if I can squeeze in some trips to go play this stuff, I will. But another highlight. Speaking of GGMillions, there is a 10K, which is a high roller. That's October 1st. That's going to be ridiculous. I believe it's a 10 mil guarantee. There's so many of highlight events. There's mystery bounties. They got PLO. 1 million Super Saver Invitational. There's so many events happening right now. The WSOP online. It's like, I'm honestly getting FOMO. I'm in Miami. I know, brother.
I miss streaming, man. I streamed on Twitch for years, and now with being with GG, working on this, I just want to get there and do it. So I'm debating also to get to a place and do it for a few weeks and play the main, because it just feels like it's not one you want to miss. And of course, the Bahamas, we're going to talk more about that. That's December, I believe, 6th to the 19th, 15 bracelet events, new record guarantees, also WSOP. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Mike, we got to take a short break because we are going to be playing for a massive purse today. Want to give everyone a second to get a coffee, get a cup of water, use the restroom, and then they will join us and we will take you to a winner today. It's going to be a special one. You don't want to miss it. We will see you all in 5 minutes.
I'm pumped.
All right, we're into it. This is the day, man. This is the one. This is those special events. 2 people going to score $1 million plus. So fun to watch. So happy to have everyone here. Welcome to the chat. I see everyone in the mix. Tell me where you're watching from. Let us know. We got myself and Mike Wasserman in the building as we see his 6th time on. We talked about it. His profile, impressive. He knows what to do. He knows today almost 9 million. 9 million in the prize pool. Online poker tournament. Pretty crazy. 171 locked up. 1.4 million going to go to the winner. No deals available. This is for it all. We are going to see who's going to take it down today. You can see 886 runners. 9 remain. We're in the heart of the WSOP online with GG. So sick, so crazy, so many weeks of action. There's our guy DK. This guy might be the hottest man in poker. He has 2 GGMillion titles. Took a heads up, I believe, in another recently. 4 final tables in short order. Also took down the Triton for 3 million. Not took it down. He got second, but it was a 125K main event. That wasn't long ago. So he is playing a strong brand. You got a guy, Simon Matson, regarded as some say the best in online poker. And he is there in 9th place, 14 blinds, plenty to play with. We're going to kick off the action. Chip leader, Queen, King off under the gun. Gets it going for a 400K min raise, Mike. I know you approve with the chips, with the stack. Gets to play a little more aggressive. It's also nice when you're the chip leader. You get to open wider and no one has anything. You know, you get a little momentum. You pick up those chips. It allows you to open even a little extra wide. You sort of get to get away, get the runaway situation going. So we do see DK get no playback off the start, and Barack with 2 8s early position. Bit of a tough hand to play with his stack. He is going to open though.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind that you can't go too hard at these guys because everybody pretty much, with the exception of, I would just assume at this final table, everybody's capable of all things. Especially DK opening into Juan Dominguez's big blind. Like, he's not going to be afraid to defend. He's not going to be afraid to just blast it off. He's going to be some, ICM conscious. He's going to be aware, but also if it's a good spot, it's a good spot. So, yeah, I don't think DK can get too out of line. And he has some deep stacked opponents that can really, go post with him and play pots in position against him. So I think you'll see him really hammering his late position spots, and he probably is not going to be opening under the gun and early position as much unless it's Simon's big blind because he's short. But even Simon, like, he's going to have a lot of binary spots as the short stack where he's pretty close to chip EV. So yeah, I think DK will be more likely to take his late position spots than his early position spots.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. We're going to get to see how it plays out as we get our first blind on blind. Sort of uncomfortable short stack. Queen 7 off. Barack, King Deuce is going to just rip it in. Just saying, hey, man, Zuboff, I don't know. I don't think you're going to be limping a monster. It's too much money on the line. You're here. You're one of the least experienced players. I'm just going to take a high variance, big little offsuit, King Deuce, rip it. And he's not thrilled about it. I don't know how many traps that Zuboff's going to have there, but I mean, he is probably going to limp in those aces or know what to do. Let's see though. He gets it through. Barack up to 9 million, chipping up as he knows how to do. Ace Jack suited, early position, Levi Strauss, and DK chip leader, Ace 10 suited. He's going to go to the streets, take a call. I like that, right? I mean, he's got chips. Levi's under the gun, strong range, but still, he knows that he's got to play pretty cautious, and that is quite a flop for Ace 10 suited.
Yeah, there's really no reason to 3-bet this hand. If Levi is opening light, Ace 10 is dominating those hands. If he's not opening light, he's going to forfeit his Ace 10 suited by 3-bet folding it. So he wants to play a pot in position. So I think you'll probably see DK calling in position with a lot lighter than Ace 10 suited. He just happens to have like one of the better flats in his range. Even as strong as like Ace Queen suited might flat here.
Wow. So we get the instant check raise. I mean, he blocks, the Ace 10. He's got Ace Jack suited. I mean, this is a very interesting hand. Turns the club draw. He was drawing dead to a chop. Now he has
80% of a royal.
Yeah, that's hard to do. 80% of royal, and he actually could go running boat, which is on the table now, which would win. He's just going to come on out betting. And if you're DK under the gun, this is a concerning card. I mean, he definitely could have jacks. He could have kings. He could have king, queen suited under the gun. I mean, this is definitely not the dream card. And as it turns out, kind of interesting as he does pick up equity and then doesn't get there. So now this is uncomfortable for Levi. What do you do? You're kind of sort of in no man's land. One of the rules in poker, you want to be either bluffing or have, you know, he's kind of got like a weird, he's got some showdown. He got called and then again called. He's blocking the club draw. I mean, this is not a fun spot. He is going to check.
Now, if he shoved, that would have been some high-level gangster stuff if Levi would have shoved. But the fact that he checked makes me think that the check raise on the flop, maybe the check raise on the flop didn't really make much sense. But I don't have a ton of check raises here as bluffs. Maybe if there was a flush draw on the flop, it's kind of an odd line. I'm not too familiar with that hand. Also, the queen is much better. It's a weird card because it gave him the royal flush draw, but it's a better card for the flatters range, I think, than it is for the check raiser, although he does have boats. So if he decided to follow through with the shove, that would have been really gangster because he blocks jacks and he blocks ace 10, but he decided to just give up. I'm not sure that the check raise really accomplishes too much besides getting called by better or folding out worse. Maybe he could get called by like jack 10, bottom pair of the straight draw. Yeah, so we see Allison opens, Barack goes with the 3-bet. Right? No, Allison opened, he called on the button here with queens.
Yeah, pretty nice spot. Allison is going and betting the jack turns, so top pair now makes trips if that were the case, but queen's still gonna feel pretty good. You know, it's still dicey, 9-handed. Players get hands. You lose to a few hands, you're sort of trapping. You feel good, you got the button, and AP is now sort of got the equity. Turns the nut flush equity here, is gonna keep on betting.
So zooming out, looking at his statistics here, he runs a 23-15. Very interesting. That is not what we used to run back in the day. It would be more like a 20-18 or an 18-16, right? There would be a lot less calling, but now there's a lot of calling from the big blind, calling in position. The game has evolved. And I mean, so he did bet one. What was his sizing compared to the pot? He bet like 40% pot on the turn.
I'm actually queuing up this $100 giveaway ticket.
Sure. Okay.
I missed the exact action.
He double barrels and it goes check. I don't know. This seems kind of like, kind of a tight check back, but.
Listen, I also will say this. So sometimes when stuff like that, and I'm definitely in more the tighter, ICM, see what happens, let things develop. You got to remember, Levi's got 3 million. You got another player short. You got Alex Zubov with 3 million and Hazuzuka short. So like for Barack to get through there, nothing weird happened. He's got 11 million. He's in a good spot. Simon, right? 2.5 million. There's so much money available. His 11 million stack is super powerful right now. He also has stacks that are around him. So I think like in his mind, normally maybe he's a guy too. I've seen him go thin value again, plays the highest cash games in the world. I think just understanding the situation that he's in, that he has such a good seat too. Look at the players around him. He just ripped King Deuce off on a limp. He gets to play aggressive, take chances, like having that versus a little more or getting a thin value bet versus it going wrong. I think he weighed that out pretty, that it was just, there was enough in there. He's happy and he knows he's in a good position in the tournament to do well, especially where he's positioned at the table. Also, speaking of the stacks, DK in a great spot on Juan Pardo Dominguez, second stack, 17 million. He's got 24 and Juan very experienced. So that's an amazing spot. As we said with GG, you get to, they do that by order of chip stack. You get to choose your position at final table. A very interesting feature that in a spot like this really matters a lot. And DK does have a nice table set for him with how the stacks are laid out. So far, so good for DK getting off and running, and Brock's chipped up as well. Simon gone through, nothing really happened so far. He's still got 12, a little over 12 blinds. He's in the big blind, 4 deuce off, not going to get to play here. And Pavel with a tough spot. He knows DK is going super wide.
Yeah, I look at Simon just like I look at Lena and Martirosian. Like you just if these guys if they're in the tournament with 10 blinds, they're in the tournament. It's not, you cannot count them out. They're going to find creative ways to win pots. They're not going to miss a single spot. They know exactly how to rep they're just the best. So, taking a long shot on him, I think it's totally worth it. Should I bet 20 on him? No, probably not, but I wanted to put more on Hey Allison. So but yeah, these guys are so good. Same with Juan Dominguez. Barack, probably knowing that he plays cash games makes me think like he might not be quite as studied in tournaments as the top tournament players, but he definitely is someone that you don't want at the table. I think we're probably going to see Simon jam this, and this might be GG.
Well, the interesting part though, if he does jam, which definitely reasonable, if he does jam, he would have the best hand against AP. He does get out of the way, just wanting a little better spot. Can't blame him. He still would have had what, 30-some% against kings with the extra 400 to 6. He wouldn't be dead there if the money did get rolled over with kings, of course, as we know. But it would have been a good spot. As it turns out, I mean, a little frustrating for AP. Knows he's going to get 3-bet here, sometimes light, and this is actually one where he is. Oh wow, he put a Juan showing us he's not making it. That's a massive raise. That's sort of uncanny, no? A little bit like that's not normal.
Yeah, this is just like a leveling thing.
Whoa, call, smooth call, and now I mean,
can he find a way? Can Allison find a way? This is the board. Come on.
Wow. This is a very interesting. I mean, AP just called that 2.6 casually. I mean, dude, it's so much money. There's so much EV here. Juan going to go ahead, knows he could have pairs, could have suited broadways, doesn't love the ace. It's scary, but he's going to get, that was a very interesting hand. I gotta put that and check on that, because that was crazy that he just peeled.
I don't think you can look it up. You can't look it up because
look
sizing isn't a thing.
Peer group and want to talk about it. Not put it in some program. That was a crazy size. Peels it. I think his reasoning is the guy's got stone air, right? Like the absolute bluffing or something good, and he's got a nice peeling hand where he could play for a chip lead pot. But wow, and now AP he's going to think Juan's just decided to come after him today. This is why you got to read the 4 agreements.
And he goes 2.1.
You can't take things personal. I mean, this is absolutely.
Oh, no.
This is crazy. No. This is like a crazy, like wildly. And he peels. What's happening, Mike? This is a crazy hand. We saw AP go play the ace jack off out of position. This time he's in position, and he has got himself. I mean, if you're AP, if you're Juan, you don't love the board. Ace king. I mean, it's 4-4-5. You're losing to pairs. But
I don't think he can fold to the sizing. And now he's going to have to get creative.
Wow, this has been quite a wild start. I'm telling. I mean, these are some interesting sizings, interesting hands. Chips are flying. We got short stacks. We got big stacks. We got all the things today. This is sick.
I think Juan actually. I think the easiest way for him to play the spot, but this is me as a mid-stakes grinder playing against mid-stakes fields. The easiest way to play the spot is to just bet the turn again with the ace king. Even if you go small, you're still leveraging the stacks to the point where even if he goes a quarter pot here, like it's just so hard for.
He's got no spade, no diamond in his hand. He's got ace king. He got peeled. I'm just like, I just can't believe how. Like, it just seemed how cavalier, like AP really just showing comfortability going in. Juan also just going in. Now the chip leader, 50 mil basically between the two big stacks here, as we see. I mean, this is actually kind of a super unique final table. We don't see this often where there's such a big gap. And with 2 players at 1 and 2, and look how many short stacks there are. 2 million, 2.8, 4.2, 2.7. I mean, there's 4 guys super short, and then there's Pavel also not sitting healthy. This is really interesting, and this is one of the fastest starts we've seen. We got jacks short stacked here, ace jack and ace queen. DK may just, I guess, gonna 3-bet commit here probably, right? Or call. Wow. This was our wild card, Zubov, who if you take a look at his Hendon mob, he has.
What a layup spot with jacks, huh?
Yeah, and I mean the ace, you can see an ace is gone.
He's
Jack
going to be
is gone
so
as well.
thrilled. Hazuka's going to fold, but he's going to be so thrilled to see that he got it in the spot. Ace queen's definitely not folding.
Jack's ace queen. This is our potential first. Well, this is our first all in. King high board, Jack safe to the turn, through to the river. 14%. You can see 6 outs, 1 to come, or we will continue 9-handed. Oh, wait, no. Oh, that was a slow peel. It looks safe. That's a 3. That's a big moment for Zubov, who was our kind of wild card in terms of resume. Doesn't have as much experience. Came in as the 8 stack and 0 cashes in GGMillions with 25K, I believe, on I think a satellite, right? It was a satellite winner. I believe he's in there. So huge moment for him. I mean, his heart must have been pounding. Big flip. He also does have a 20K final table 5th place in the Triton Jeju. So he's played some live poker. He's been around the world. Got 278K for that score. From Russia. And was at the World Series. Looks like played a few events out there. I just checking in. He did cash the win 10K. Did cash the Hall of Fame 1900. So he's played some live poker. Haven't seen him much here at the GG streets, but let's see how that goes. Juan Pardo with 2 5s over there, 25 million. Very interesting dynamic, Mike. What do you expect to happen? I mean, Simon and these guys that are short are really handcuffed with ICM. I mean, just in terms of trying to ladder a bit, but he is the shortest now by a bit, Simon.
I wonder how Simon chooses to shove or not shove the ace-5. It's a non-zero amount of shoving there for sure. I just wonder if is it 10%, 25%, and then like, is he just randomizing, or is he actually so unbelievably confident at his edge and so ICM conscious that he doesn't take that spot? Like, Allison is definitely opening fairly wide on the button. He's going to have playable hands and a stronger range than a regular button opening range because he's opening into the chip leader, but he's also in position, so that just like puts him back close to a button opening range. And I'm surprised. But then also we see Allison like not afraid to go to the streets. Go to the streets, flat a massive 3-bet because he knows how polarized Juan is. And that's kind of what you do when people are polarized in those spots. If you're deep enough, you can flat. When you're shallower, you end up finding some shoves over those things because it's so profitable. But I'm just blown away by how willing he is to deviate from like what normal strategy, quote unquote normal strategy would be. I don't know. Like these guys, when I say I play mid stakes, like, you know, it's true. I'm good at mid stakes poker. I'm not quite as good as Aaron Baroni, who just gave us a shout out in the chat. But I wish I had included him in the mid stakes mastery course because me and Brian Paris tout ourselves as being very good at mid stakes tournaments. But Aaron has just been destroying everything. So check out his stream for sure. But yeah, I'm just blown away by the fearlessness that Allison is playing with and being willing to flat. So yeah, I think now Juan can't get too out of line because he has DK to his left. But I think we're going to see Juan. It's very possible that he'll start running the table over. Here's why this is a very interesting stack distribution right now. Simon is the shortest stack with 2 million. The 2 chip leaders are directly to his left. Every time Simon folds, everyone else is incentivized not to play a big pot.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, Rock doesn't love it because he thinks he's going to flip a lot and doesn't love that. But there is the chance when this happens. I mean, this is Hazuzuka, the only player hailing from Austria today, which is abnormal, but also 900 entries. So could be a little more wild in Brazil representing. Wow, look at this fold, man. He just gets it done. Like that is not, you couldn't blame him for calling there. 9's going to be, got money in the middle, flipping a lot, but he is somehow behind and makes a world-class fold there.
He folds 9s, which would be considered like a nitty fold kind of, raise folding nines, like that's ridiculous to a re-steal. And he's just right. The guy just has tens. He has them pit. Like these guys are so good. They just know the spots. If Hazuka is jamming fives there, like but he doesn't think that he is, apparently. Like he just thinks that he has like sevens plus or eights plus, and he's just mucking the rest of those hands. And he feels like he's not doing well enough against that range to justify risking, 40% of his chips. I think this is an interesting spot. Yeah, this is good recognition by Levi taking the ace 10 here. Because normally I would think ace jack's probably the bottom. Ace 10 is very hard to pull the trigger on right there. But against the chip leader, maybe it's the best stack to be attacking, or the best open to be attacking, and not folding the bottom of your range. Oh boy.
Well, you're saying there's making tight folds or good folds or waiting for something, but there's also just reality. Ace 8 on the small blind, big blind. AP already showed the willingness going wider, and they have a history. I mean, listen, there's Houdini, and then there's this. I don't know if Simon can really fade and take another orbit here. He doesn't. He's going to be behind, and he's going to need some help. Needs an 8, some hearts, diamonds, a straight. I mean, again, nothing guaranteed in poker. It's never over till it's over. As you said, dangerous if you get some chips. Big moment for both players. Big part of AP's stack as a ace comes. Diamonds are available. 2 runners. Not going to be that. Needs an 8 or an 8 only, or we will see our first knockout. Simon Matson coming in, and it is doesn't look like a 3 across. That is a deuce. Yeah. And that is GG. Golfer claps, the ElkYs, the D-negs, the emojis everywhere. Everyone gives that respect to this man. He does take out a 9th place. You can take a look there. Pretty cool how they have the VPIP, PFR, and 3-bet ATS. There's the stats you were referencing earlier, sort of what's been the norm, and things have changed as we do get to 8-handed pay jumps for all, and a legend down. So we are 8-handed here. And your chip leader, Juan Pardo Dominguez, started second. He is in first, and DK there, 20 mil still, pretty healthy. And Zubov with the 10-8 suited does call 7-7 deuce, 2 spades.
It's just going to be a small C bet and a fold, probably. Look, I know some chat has given me a hard time for being wrong in some spots, trying to guess what people are going to do, but it's too boring to sit here and just watch. I like to try to put myself in the hot seat, figure out what I would do. That's how you get the most out of these like streams anyways. Like, why would you just watch? If you're trying to get better, watching passively is not the way to go. Like, think about what you would do in these spots. Think about what your range would be like. What sizing you would use, like, would you have jammed the ace 5 by Simon at the beginning, or would you have passed? Would you get the money in with the ace 8 or not? Would you have flatted in Allison's spot in either of those hands?
Let me take it a step further, because this is he does end up going out in a similar spot, ace 8. It would have been different. He would have, as we saw, it wouldn't have mattered. Ace 5 to kings. Oh, actually, that's actually wild to think about. The ace 5, if he jammed, he would have hit the ace. So he would have got the open. He would have shoved. He would have got called. He would have won, and he would have saved Allison like a bunch of chips. But as it turns out, he passes that spot. What do you think that let's just say, I know Lena plays some 125 special events on GG, right? Some like low buy-in turn. Let's say the lowest buy-in that Matson plays, right? And this is a final table, same situation. Do you think he's playing the ace 5 the same if it's the same player, Allison on the button, the same situation,
same lineup?
You think he doesn't even deviate at all? Like, he would fold there. Would you think there's any consideration with the ICM and how big this one is and playing a little different, or do you think it's the same?
Same payout distribution, not the same dollar amount, but the same distribution.
Amount. Like for like $100 buy-in, like a $200 buy-in tournament, nine table, it's 150 at the prize pool.
Yeah, I do. I think I think he makes the same decision if this was 1/10 of the buy-in. Same people, same distribution, payout distribution. But there are X factors, like, is it a Sunday Does he have other tables to focus on? Is it a quick structure? There are things that need to be taken into account. Is he playing a 10K buy-in and he's at this final table, you know, and his focus is better spent on the 10K, so he might take a thinner spot in the 200?
That's an interesting take. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah,
that's true.
there's stuff that you might not think about, but generally, if he's playing one table and you're just apples to apples, but you know, 1/10 of the size, same decision, 100%.
Well,
But yeah,
this
go
is
ahead.
interesting. Hazuzuka does turn equity. He's in really bad shape on the 10-10-5 with the 5 against 9s, and Pavel going to go for some small bet here, as he is actually giving a pretty nice price with this particular hand, and he's going to miss the flush. And now, very interesting, tough spot. Both players a bit of a decision. I mean, 9s does snap check.
That's the beautiful thing about being in position, is you just get to dictate the action, you know? Like it's just so much easier in position. Like if he checks back there, he might have to face some tougher decisions. He lets his opponents realize he let his opponent realize some EV. There could be some tough turn cards or river cards that he has to face tough decisions. With the 9s, he can just go bet small, check back, and that's the line. He can dictate the action, and he gets value from worse hands, and he controls the pot size and position. I mean, it's good fundamentals by Pavel in that spot. So Juan opens the ace-10, gets 3-bet by Brock. I like the 3-bet, considering how wide Juan is opening. I think you might see Juan not fold here. These are both great semi-bluffing hands pre-flop. So, okay. So he gives him some
There's
credit.
some respect there. I really didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
With Hazuzuka and Levi Strauss so short, you know, again, Barak's not one that's just going to, you know, he's not going to play to fold to ladder, even with this big of pay jumps. But with that said, you know, I don't know. I wonder if he clicks it on him there, king, queen off, if he's just going to run along because of that, or if he goes, maybe makes a move. But as it plays, Juan says, hey, let me pick a different spot to tangle with. I'm not gonna get into a clicking war with Brock. He also has a chip lead now, right? He is in command of this table. Doesn't need to just rifle in 9-10 million on a whim and get too crazy. So I like the discipline, and that's something we see the best do. They find ways. They're aggressive, but they're also not just reckless. They're not just like all the time, I'm chip leader, or I think this guy is capable, I'm just gonna, you know, flick it in. They just seem to know how to, you know, dive, duck, bob, and weave. And that was, again, you know, we saw sort of a little bit of respect, I think, there. He decided to not go to war there with the ace-10 off. Could have.
But that shows you fundamentally why that hand functions so well as a semi-bluff, right? Because even so, you know, range versus range wise, let's just give like a small example. You 3-bet king queen in Brock's spot, and Juan has jacks. Like, he's probably flatting jacks at a decent frequency there, and your king queen is just flipping against them, and you're actually kind of bluffing with that hand, and you're 50%. So like, that's why it got through, and he got ace-10 to fold in this particular iteration of the hand. So it just shows you why it's so important to have some of those hands in your range. And as you can see, Brock has been chipping up nicely, and you can't just do it by picking up hands or by raise folding 9s against 10s like a boss. You know, another insight that is really easy to not recognize. Yeah, he's gonna have to put him in here. It's very interesting, this high level stuff, man. Like the min, like 2.1x 3-bet out of position here. Like, he is, the fact that he even chooses that as an option shows you how savage he is, because he either actually has a 3-bet fold range in that spot from the big blind, or he doesn't and knows that they think he does. So like, either way, he's just one level ahead of everybody.
It's sick. It's honestly, it's so fun to watch plays made with certain hands and stuff, and just think like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a play on here, or a sizing, or a situation where it's not like, oh, okay, there's A, B, what's he going to do? And then they go C. And that's when you're just like, all right, this is like, you know, the game, these guys are advanced. they're thinking not only like in the outside the box, they're in a different sort of different path. That today, I mean, I had never seen that sizing. That 2.6, he did it twice to Allison, who again, one of the best in the world, probably a lot of history. And he just twice is going huge. And it shows you because he's got to be balanced, right? He doesn't just have ace, king, and kings. The guy's snapping him with queen 10 suited and ace jack off, right? So, that shows you Juan Pardo, similar to Damo, that type of game where they're so balanced, they're so difficult to play against. They don't always have it, of course, right? And they're getting called by modest hands because they people know that. So it's really fun to watch that style of play. Big pot poker.
Yeah, they definitely have some history, and of course he's going to know. Sorry, I'm messing with the camera here a little bit, but he's going to know that what Allison's, not necessarily what his frequencies are, but he's going to know what his tendencies are. And yeah, look, the Brazilians are not folders. We'll just leave it there. They're usually not the ones calling down, though. They like to put the pressure on. Oh yeah, I was going to mention. I'm doing a couple things here. I'm trying to interact with chat. It's very hard. I actually pulled up the stream so I could see the chat because I can't really respond or anything. But I'll try to get to some of this chat. Crazy that if Simon jammed the ace 5, he would have ran into kings, and he would have had more equity.
Right.
Than also, the spot he got the money in.
Right. He got it in. He would have got it in for a bigger pot, a little deeper. That's also one of those things about, there is something to be said about taking some risk when you're, instead of getting shorter, it's no guarantee you're going to get it in good when you're shorter, and that's for less chips. But yeah, it's fascinating. Those type of things are really interesting to look at, why players do what they do, what they, in those close spots where that would be great to hear the thought process. Love to have Simon on the show. Love to have Panakovs. I know there's some other guys we've been talking with that like to have on. I mean, they're just great to get to pick people's minds. Some of the players we see. It's open by any, but I also want to say anyone watching is at the final table or that plays in the GGMillions, please reach out, Twitter or a mutual friend, get a hold of me. We have a lot of requests to be on the show and love to get new guests on, and especially those that are playing in this particular tournament. Barack as well. I met him at the World Series, got to talk with him, sat next to him, and here he goes. Ace King. Can't blame that. 9-7 suited, no decision. But please reach out. Please come on. Love to have some people on post game too sometimes in the future, where players have played, whether they won or lost or had a good day or not. We get to do a post game interview. That'd be cool. Pregame as well. Got through the pregame show today. That was awesome. Have some players on that play frequently in these events. As again today, a little mix, a couple new names that we haven't seen. A lot of repeat winners, but we have several players that we have not seen here.
Yeah, it's just wild to me that if he jammed the ace 5, he gets called by literally number 2 and has 33% or 30%. Meanwhile, he waits for a better spot theoretically and gets it in with like 25%. It's just like, regardless of if he would have doubled or not, it's just purely the pre-flop spot. Okay, so DK opens the ace 6. And we have queens in the big. So yeah, it's also interesting to see, like, when you look at this HUD, DK runs, I don't know, are these HUD stats in this tournament or are they his overall stats? Like what are we actually looking at here?
I believe overall. I'm gonna get clarification on that.
I mean, this is significantly different than like what we saw for Allison, who has a 9%
overall. Yeah, it makes sense. Overall, it's overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clarification.
And DK is more active. He plays more hands, and he has a higher 3-bet percentage as well. 11%. That's a 2% difference over a large sample. It's a lot. That's a lot of more 3-betting.
Ace King 6-8. Not much. Yep. To think about here. Pavel certainly going to be playing and doesn't go crazy big. does open in AP 6-8 off, showing us he's sticky, but not the 8 high line up blind versus the world class. I'll put him in the category of world class. All right, A7 off, 9-5 suited. How do you approach this? ICM, of course, so important, but just so many short stacks. You got a good hand, sort of like not a nightmare. It's nice to get A7 in the small. Generally, snap check back 9-5 suited, but AP, you know, this is tough. You realize you're not going to get to just get to a river here all the time. A7 just completely missed from both players. No one really, nothing, even sniffing something. As A7 off, gonna get bet at here, and this is tough, but has to call. Does hit the 7, gonna feel a little better beating deuces now. Also, some kind of draws like Jack 9 might check back pre-flop. Some sort of suited hands, middling hands check back. So unless it's a 10, you know, may be raising. Does get a good run out. A7 gonna feel fairly confident as played here, I think.
Yeah, it's a pretty good run out for the A7. I am curious to see. Look, man, he doesn't just win this hand, you know, like Juan, he could check to Juan and Juan decides to go 1.5 X pot or something, you know, and just puts him in the, you know, handcuffs him. You're going to see Allison being pretty passive out of position here. He needs to protect his stack a little bit. This is one of the rivers where I actually think Juan might find some bluffs. Yeah, I mean, he goes 3x pot. I mean, 3x pot.
Wow. And this is what I'm saying. As played, you get to the river, it's sort of comfortable, and he does.
He called.
I mean, AP. Nice.
What a champ.
Yeah.
What a boss.
Nice play there. Nice play. I mean, Juan sort of having his way with AP, right? With having hands, and then when he didn't, AP looked it up. So pretty well done. I mean, honestly. Hey, Allison, there we call him AP with the tough last name to pronounce by any standard.
Yeah, no, we don't need to mess with these last names. That is what is an incredible call. I mean, dude, the level that Allison is playing on right now, he wants first. He wants to win. He is playing for the win, and he knows what Juan is capable of. To paint a little bit of a picture for you. Ape Styles was streaming this yesterday, and he had queens right before the final table against Malacca or Juan Dominguez. Yep. Juan 3-bet him, and he had like 40 effective or high 30s. And he's like, you know what? I'm against this particular guy. He's a nightmare to play with post flop, so I'm not going to have a 4-bet range here. I'm just going to shove. So he just rips the top of his range, you know, against Juan, just giving him so much respect. And then we see that Juan goes with the 3x pot in that spot. I mean, it just shows you that he's willing and able at any point to do whatever it takes to win the hand. And I think that's just a common thing that you see again with top tier players. They're always thinking about, how can I win this hand? And I think I've mentioned this before. That's actually pretty interesting that we see the King Jack fold there on the flop. Well, he has so much equity.
We got a mystery hand. Always fun. Always interesting to see how they play out. We're going to let Mike take a crack at this one as Barack, the King Deuce suit in the big blind. DK on the button with the stack covering. Got to believe he's going to open pretty wide. He does follow suit. And we are going to see a potential big pot. Let's see what happens here. King Deuce, what do you like here?
Probably mostly calling. Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be tough. Like, you don't even really want to check call one. You know what's funny? If he goes bigger, I feel like I'm facing a double barrel less frequently. But either way, I'm just check calling here. The turn, now we turn more equity. One of the things I think about in these spots is like, what is my visibility across future streets? This hand, outside of a 4 or a 5 or a 2, that's not a diamond. It's pretty hard to continue, but against a min bet, like, we're gonna have to do it. Here, I still think he's gonna have a bunch of semi bluffs, diamonds. He could even turn a hand like 6s with a diamond and like kind of go crazy with it. It's a good stack to do this to, you know, but it's not necessarily a good player to do this to. Brock is definitely capable of putting his big boy shoes on, you know, and finding the calls when he needs to. I think I would probably end up just folding this turn. I know he's going to end up calling because otherwise the hand, wouldn't be the mystery hand. I would probably just muck the turn and not put myself in this spot. But he's not afraid. I mean, he shipped this tournament a couple weeks ago, right? So not for quite as much, but he's in there ready to battle.
Yeah, these are two GGMillion champions. 4 million in the middle, 16 million to 9. Has the advantage. Does he have it? Does he give up? Does he go big? What will happen? What will be the sizing, or does he surrender? Let's see here. Or let's see. He's using a little time make. I think he's got something good here. He's using a little time make treatment. The 15-minute chess clocks. Everyone pretty healthy here today, playing quickly as we see DK going to the tank. Is he going to unload something massive here?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I really, you know, people ask me that don't play poker for a living. When I tell them what I do, they're like, "Oh, so you're really good at reading people?" And I'm like, you know, I'm okay. And they're like, "Well, how do you play online? Like, how do you read people?" And my answer is timing is very, very important. And certain player types, sizing is also very important. Yeah, he gets it done.
Wow, sick hand, man. So sick play. And honestly, Barack, he was ready to look it up. I mean, that was quite a bluff, man. This guy impresses me. I'm telling you, he just impressed me. The fact that he got that Triton 3-mil score, 125K main live. He's two-time champion, quick order. I think he was heads up for a third, if I'm not mistaken. Also, I mean, he's just been, and his results on GGMillions are crazy. Like in these big ones, where it's like 1 million plus, he's been there multiple times. He's won some big ones. I got to see, actually, let me look at that. His GGMillion earnings are, like 3.5 million, and he only has 14 appearances with 3 cashes, 3 final tables. I think he's gone 1-1.
You got to flip here.
And 2 big ones. We got an all-in 10s to ace king, gonna make it pretty concrete there. 100% of the turn. Hazuzuka 10s gets it done versus ace king, fair fight. But are you hearing that? His stats, he has 3 cashes. They are for on GGMillions, 3 cashes. He has 3.6 million on those. So that means here's another one, right? It's 1.4 to first.
Did he
it's like every time it's a 7-figure one, he's not coming in for the 250s. He's not hitting a 250 score for the win. He's hitting the milli scores. It's crazy. It's crazy, actually.
You know what's indicative of that is his HUD stats. Like, he probably bricks a lot of events. Like, do you know how many entries there were, Jeff?
On which one?
Are you talking about DK or are you talking about Barack for the caches?
I'm saying for DK, the
yeah. That's what I thought.
He's got 3 caches. 3 final tables, 2 wins in a second, and he has 3. He's got 3.6 million in GGMillion earnings.
How many entries though?
No, I just said 14 appearances.
Oh, 14 times he bought in, or did he rebuy a bunch of times?
I think that counts rebuys probably, because like that 14 total entries, 3 caches. He has. That's actually a good question. I'm going to get clarification on that, because I've seen some people like 150 appearances. I think that must be because of re-entries. So either which way, I'm just telling you, he's been in 14 times, and he's got 3.6 million. It's one of the sickest records I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick for sure.
And here it is. It's another massive one, and he's chip leader to start 9-handed. Got himself a good chance to get a top 2 milli score again. I mean, this guy, someone needs to be, this is wild.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he plays so aggressive, he kind of is someone that plays for the win. So he ends up like, not making the money a bunch of times, but when he does, he has a big stack. He gives himself a good chance to win. That seems to be the style that he plays.
I get it. I that's all fine. I'm just saying, like, it's almost like he only
still
plays
sick.
the big
Yeah,
GG millions. Like, he's only in 14 times. He's got 3 final tables, 2 wins, and they're the big ones. So it's like maybe he's just not playing a lot of the like, oh, he's like, if it's a 10K regular 350 to first, he's not interested. And this is tier 1 ace king suited versus queens. This is going to be for the money here. And Zubov are sort of unknown, going to have himself another flip of a lifetime, most likely.
Yeah, one of the kings is dead. I think he just 4-bets small here. What?
Okay. I mean, this guy Wizbrod, he's on a different universe. I mean, this is some Adrian Mateos, WSOP live, like, hero stuff. I mean, he's in theory not. He's not wrong, but not right. I mean, he's avoiding. I mean, look, let's shout out Raise Your Head. Just talk about risk premium, NCB. Risk premium. If he knows it's ace king suit, ace king versus queens, he doesn't want to flip, right? There's 2 guys with much shorter stacks. Zubov's even shorter. Does he want to flip? He's tied with Pavel. I mean, that's probably the right fold, right? It's a raise 3-bet. Zubov isn't messing around. I don't know, man. Plug it in.
We would have to look at the spot. Maybe it's marginal. Maybe it comes up as kind of marginal. It's possible. If he thinks that Zubov doesn't have jacks ever or tens ever, like, maybe he just shoves those. Maybe his 3-bet range against the chip leader is only ace king, like queens plus. I don't know. That's pretty wild fold though. But he gets him again, so in a better spot.
Wow.
Something he knows that we don't know. A lot of things, probably.
This some matrix stuff. Well, over 1,200 watching. Welcome to everyone. Let us know where you're watching from the world. I got my man Mike Wasserman, 6-time guest. He has got his own coaching deal. Can tell you more about it. The Mid Stakes Mastery, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is your focus. Is that right? Mid Stakes Mastery.
Yeah, I have a course, 2 courses actually with Brian Paris and a couple with Alexander Fitzgerald, Assassinato. My courses with Brian are tournament fundamentals, teach you how to play different stack sizes and what your options are, and then Mid Stakes Mastery, which goes through a lot of hand histories of Brian's, teaching really fundamental concepts that will get you through these big
Brian
fields.
isn't Brian Paris.
Brian Paris, yeah.
Paris.
Yeah, exactly. He's been in the game. I've played 120,000 MTTs. He's played 160. I mean, I've cashed for 9.5. He's cashed for 20. It's just like, it's sick. He's a sicko. And we're going to be actually having a webinar on Friday if you guys want to check it out through Advanced Poker Training. So you can go to their website and sign up for that webinar. And we're going to be running a sale. But yeah, back to the action. So it looks like it was just a 3-bet. No, he actually must have just flatted free and then check. I'm going to go back and see because I want to know because he's done this quite a bit. I'm actually watching. Yeah, he just called pre. He called pre, check flop, check turn, and now he's facing pot. Good Lord. If he folds, God help us if he folds.
I think he's just going to show us he's the best, one of the best, the top tier. I think he just flicks out the queens on ace high board, going to just get it right. I don't know, man. I think it's also DK. He knows this guy is playing wide. The 6-7 hasn't shown up yet. I'm sure he has his notes on him anyway, and he knows the guy that is capable. But, man, I don't know, man. Just don't know.
The tough. Oh, no. So he opened under the gun. Check. Would he? Jesus Christ. I don't know.
There could be something to be said about, I don't know, the ladies. Like maybe he's got maybe some sort of adversity to the ladies right now. He's not playing them hard. He's kind of just seeing what happens, trying to play a coy. I don't know, man. That's
Bad juju.
That's wild.
He
Listen,
doesn't like him.
I'm a Barack fan. I think he's got amazing game. Love to talk to him. Barack, love to have you on the show. Love to have you on ASAP anyway. Another great result coming no matter what happens here. And love to hear. We could talk. Maybe we could do a special on Queens, because I said I always give respect to players I know at the highest level. I know they know what they got. They got a little extra tricks. They're doing extra things. They're taking different spots. They're passing up on spots that seem obvious. And I think that's why it's so fascinating as we see the fives and ace-8 tango, late positions, pocket fives in the lead. Scary board has a club, ace-8 in the lead, top pair, no club. Both players sort of modest holdings with the board. Don't love it, don't hate it. Five's a little scarier.
All right. I don't know Brock. I know he's won. He won this recently, but his nickname is going to be Phil Hellmuth from now on for me. I'm just going to call him Hellmuth because he's Hellmuthing his way through this tournament right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, multiple giveaways. My pinned Twitter, Jeff Cross Poker, guys. Hope you take part in that $50 retweet. That is cash. So if you don't have a GG account, it's eligible to everyone. I should see. I don't know if everyone has Twitter X, if you will. 1,170 on. Expect 1,000 retweets there. That's cash money. We also have a $100 GG tweet. That link I'll drop for you. That is on GG's Twitter. Guess the top three. Doesn't have to be in the right order. That's $100. And then Mike and I have a wager where it's going to be a $50 ticket or 100, depending who wins. If one of my players wins 100, one of his wins 50, we have a dinner on the line. And there is, let's see, who do you got? Everyone should be in, right? You did take Simon, though, as the long shot.
Yeah. What we just saw there was Allison flatted the button and double barreled ace, queen, 10 with fives with a club. And that's, I think, a function of how many suited versus offsuit hands those ranges have. I think Pavel has more offsuit hands in the cutoff, and Allison has more suited hands, specifically suited kings, I believe. And having fives with the club, I think, functions as a pretty good bluffing hand. Because Allison has a bunch of two-pair combos. He has straights. Yeah, it's just really good recognition of range versus range, I think, from Allison in that spot. Sorry, you asked me about Matson. Yeah, he busted. I have Allison and I have I have DK. So I have 30 on DK and 50 on Allison.
And Juan Pardo here, 10s, shorter stack, opening is under the gun. Let's see if he's able to maneuver without getting the money in. But I mean, this is not a bluff, so he's 3-betting the 10s. And Hazuzuka going to be in a pretty good position to get back in this. As it stands out, you can see a very cool feature. Lifetime stats there on GG. They've thrown out VPIP 25, PFR 17, ATS 25, 3-bet 14%. Talk us through those stats and what sort of changed and how normal, like where does that stand now as we're going to get seen all and hold that thought. Kings to 10s, a lot of money in the middle, 10 mil, and a ace comes, no player with an ace. To the river, very much alive. The need a 10 or it will be a double, and that is a 7. That is 10 mil going to go over the direction of Hazuzuka. Pavel showing an ace just in case would have got there. And the short stacks kind of have emerged here, right? We saw some 2 and 3 million stacks. All of a sudden, Levi Strauss, the only one in that super danger zone, 10 blinds. Everyone else kind of has risen. Hazuzuka is out of the trap. Zabov also, and I think Pavel might have been shorter, Levi Strauss short, and then of course Simon Matson did go out. Ace-8 to Ace-Jack, our first casualty at the final table. 8 remain. Hay jumps huge, lower left of your screen. You see that? If you want to know what's going to go on, level 17 upper left when the blinds go up, that does indicate that. DK opening here, and Zubov. This is where, do you find the edges? Do you push and he does. Shows he's willing and able. Ace-10 off, going to go for it. Makes a nice raise at DK, as it turns out.
It's interesting that he chooses a not all-in sizing here off of a little over 20 bigs. Well, he has 6, 7. He had 7 million to start the hand, so like 23 bigs. Yeah. I wonder if he's 3-bet folding. He probably is. Probably folding to a shove. Maybe not from DK. Nice fold by Allison. I know he had the suited wheel ace and he wanted to do something with it, but that I think the bottom for like V pipping there is maybe some ace 4 and ace 5 suiteds. And we kind of dumped the ace 2 and ace 3 and ace 6. To answer your question about the HUD, yeah, you know, pre-solver era, the game just kind of it just over time it just changes. You know, it used to be you used to be able to get away with running a 13-10, you know, playing 13% of hands and being aggressive when you did so, which is 10%. And you would only call in very specific spots, and you'd mostly just raise, and you would only play good hands, really good hands. And it's just, if you play that style now, you'll get absolutely destroyed because even just opening ranges, everybody having opening range charts and raise and RFIing at a higher percentage, the field, they're just going to start eating away at your stack.
RFI raise first in though. We getting newer players in this. Of course, we got the best in the world watching and playing. We got some of the new people. Want to welcome everyone in. Got questions? Let us know. Are following along on the chat, trying to keep an eye on that, but following the action here closely as well. So again, that's you're talking raise first in. So that these have changed dramatically with the, and also I guess also important, the population tendencies. It's not just what's maybe right and who knows, or what the book or the computer suggests, but what like actually the population, things change a lot. Like now things, the basic things people weren't doing that are learning poker are kind of getting pretty quickly and playing good. You know, if everyone plays good starting ranges to start, you're already sort of taking away some of the meat where there's a lot of value, right? And that's I think as a whole, people have gotten a lot better, a lot more information. People are learning quicker, and then it gets kind of the high level, you know, solver, post flop stuff, and some people are doing a lot of work and getting a lot of reps and have some of the best info and people involved. But you know, still the game's changed a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten tougher. But it depends on, you know, what stakes you're playing. Are you playing live? Are you playing online? And you know, you can get away with a much more exploitative style live because it's just like going back in time, really, especially at certain areas in the United States, or even some areas like in Europe. Or, you know, there's WPT stops where, you know, now in like some of the like Asian countries and like South Africa and all these different stops where poker is still kind of a new thing. So there's definitely some, just depends on where you're playing. All right, so we saw the King Jack 3-bet. Now we see Pavel open the King Jack. He gets 3-bet by the King Deuce suited on the button, and now we have 1 in the small, and I don't think we're going to see a fold from the 2 queens here. I think it's just a question of how much is he going to make it. Obviously, in this spot, it's not that important what his sizing is. It's just the fact that he just puts in another raise, because there's really no flatting range for Allison in that spot. Well, maybe between these two there is, but he just goes like 2.1x out of position there. Like, I either have it or I don't have it. Again, a polar spot, a very polar spot, where he doesn't need to go big to say that he either has the nuts or nothing. But he was committing himself to Pavel's stack. So he should have, you know, a hand that's going to have some equity that he has to run against Pavel, like a suited ace or a suited king or something like that. Now we see Hazuzuka opening the ace 10, getting flatted by 9-10 suited in the small. And again, we have queens. This is wild. He goes with the 3-bet. Man, Barack is just all about flatting those queens, huh? Everybody else is 3-betting them. Maybe that's his like.
I like Barack. You know, again, it's funny because Oh man. All right, we'll get the aces this time. No one with anything to play, but again, it's result oriented a little bit, and some of these spots maybe didn't work out well, right? For him, and the ace king we won't know suited, but the other spot he got bluffed. At the same token, there's gonna be times he's gonna win huge pots. He's gonna get really good boards, good situations, and also be under rep. But here he goes, gonna go ahead and kick it up, and one part of the 4-5 suited. Not a hand you'd be peeling with. Definitely not with these stack sizes. Implied odds not there. It does get out of the way.
Now we're looking at his HUD stats with how active he is. I wonder why he mixed. Maybe he's randomizing to a certain degree, because if he's 3-bet is 12%, there's no reason for him to flat queens, because he's 3-betting such a high frequency. He can just have queens in his 3-betting range, and it's disguised by the fact that he's also 3-betting, a bunch of other hands as bluffs and semi bluffs. So it's really interesting. Maybe those were just low frequency spots that came up, and it seems more significant than it was. What's going on with you, Jeff? Anything new?
Ben's been crazy busy. Was traveling this summer, family stuff. I got a 1-year-old now, so 16 months. Yeah, and I mentioned that 5-year-old, 1-year-old started kindergarten, 5-year-old. So that's a handful, man. I mean, that's a lot. But I do, like I said, I'm going to go to the Bahamas. That's going to be an interesting series, some record stuff. Negreanu did an announcement about that, kind of breaking that down. That's December 6th to the 19th. I think 15 events. And right now, obviously, the WSOP 5K 25 mil is underway, where you can start playing those flights. And that is August 18th to September 30th, 33 bracelet events. WSOP and GG they've been doing that the last few years, but now officially a unit, right? GG buying the WSOP for 500 mil, epic blockbuster deal. As hope to play some of these events online, get to a spot where I can do that. But again, with kids, school and stuff, it's a bit trickier. Can't just not like it used to be, but I do want to play some of these bracelet events. And I know I asked you that earlier, the pregame show, if you're going to be able to, and you said you might be able to get away and get over to a place to play, but you're not sure yet.
Yeah, maybe if I win some seats or something, but I don't think I'll be in the Bahamas. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I know there's a big 25K down there, maybe I'll make that my first 25K.
Yeah, I believe it's a record one as well. They're doing some extra special stuff. I have to refresh myself on the Bahamas. That's a little ways out. I'm focused on this and then the online events from the 18th to the 30th of September. I know there's some pretty special. I do want to play that 5K 25 online. I mean, Giraffe Ganger, been a guest on the show, been on my podcast, legend, took it down while streaming for 2.7 million.
Unbelievable,
that is just
dude.
Like literally this. I mean, you can't get sicker than that. You can't. It's like winning gold medals or something. It's hard to get that mental high back. I can't even imagine that. That is so crazy to be.
He's been kind of a ghost lately. I haven't seen him streaming as much, but yeah, well, he can do whatever he wants. Maybe he went on a big downswing or something. I know he fires really hard, so who knows? But
yeah, I'm not. I actually just was catching up with him first time in a while. I don't know. It's hard, man. Listen, I'm telling you, people are all playing, traveling, doing this and that. It's so much action now. There's a Triton series. There's the WSOP online, WSOP live, the EPTs, the WPTs. There's so much poker action everywhere. If you're looking and you're playing, you could really find yourself in a lot of different places and doing different things and finding a different schedule. But there is something available to play at all times. So that is for sure. Traveling the world with the people. I mean, yeah, I might be doing it. I know he's usually camped out, but this is he's enjoying now. Pretty good flop, ace jack in position here versus the king queen suited. Just a total whiff. Such a nice hand in the big blind to get to play, but this is one that Zubov is going to be a little more enrolled in.
Shout out to Driscoll, one of my little study partners. He's been having a pretty good year. I think he got third in like that 1K on ACR and had some deep runs live and stuff. He's coming up. He's a comer-upper. He's gonna be playing the high stakes pretty soon.
Good to see it. There is so many emerging players male, female. There's been some debates on the female players, some great players just coming out playing, and it's fun to see. And there's so much variance in poker, but then there's heaters, and you definitely can't deny. When someone starts really streaking, they're playing with confidence. They're running well and having fun. And hope those in the chat. Hope we get to see you guys at some big final tables. Let us know if you got anything to sweat. And we are literally playing to a winner. It started out like it looked like this could be fast, right? It was 25 million for Juan and DK. There was like 3 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. Now all of a sudden, Levi's even up to 3.7 and likely going to be winning this pot. See if he just min raise. See 3.7. He's got 12 and change. And yeah, I think he is the shortest. He's going to commit, basically shove.
Yeah, this is interesting. The fact that he chooses 2.4. I think this is a mistake from him choosing 2.4. I understand what he's doing, but I think he can do it for less. So I think like a 5x is like plenty big. Like you're just not going to get really flatted, and you're showing that you're committed to the hand. I don't think you're going to get people stopping going against you when you're 5 or 6xing, but like 8x is just like at least 2 bigs too much, at least. But the point is he's folding if 2 people shove because he's just crushed. But yeah, I think he could do it for less. So we see that Allison opened the king 6 suited in the cutoff. Kind of a good spot for him because if he gets through Juan, DK is in the small. So he's kind of like less likely to be playing back from the small blind. If the big blind had like 15 bigs, this would not be a good spot, but the big blind has 30 bigs. So DK can't just like shove on Allison and put too much pressure on him. So I think it's good awareness of, picking his spots and ducking and weaving a bit for Allison.
The blinds are up too. 175, 350. Gonna pick up the open there, Jack 10 off. Good point there as we get still eight-handed and seen a couple doubles after a knockout. Simon, the first one to go out, couldn't get it going, just couldn't quite get the right spot, and ultimately got it in. Ace 8, I believe the ace jack. And Levi, tough spot, 8-handed under the gun, shortest stack, does go ahead and open it up. I mean, how close is that? You think he's going to open 8-handed under the gun as the shortest?
Yeah, I mean, he's as the shortest stack, he's the closest to chip EV, right? So he's just looking for spots he's going to be taking a slightly thinner spots, almost like the way the chip leader will take thin spots. He'll take thin spots as well. And then all the middle stacks want to be careful navigating, especially post flop. But yeah, I mean, maybe he opens ace 9 off as a bluff. Ace 10, he's probably opening as well. And then ace jack seems like a pretty clear open to me for Levi. Here, jack 9 suited opens, gets 3-bet actually pretty small. What is that, 2.5x? In position.
Definitely small.
Could see some peeling here. I think the fact that there's some history now and he's taken these spots a couple times, even though he's had it every time, this hand might just be good enough to flat. Maybe not. It's still pretty marginal. I could see him going either way here. I don't think we'll see any shoving, but he could have chosen to call.
He did 3-bet him ace 10 off when he had ace 7, but it was cut off button. It wasn't like a bluff, but it wasn't, here. It wasn't like, he wasn't afraid. Definitely showed he's willing to take a thin edge as ace 5 suited, another hand. Kind of more fun to 3-bet than open, but he opens it. Of course, going to play. Folds to him.
This
hijack and
Barack definitely could take that spot.
Yeah, Zubov has had himself a nice little spin from 8. Pretty great price on him. Still a lot of work to do. 11 mil though. He's he's in 3rd place. Matter of fact, kind of wild. 11 mil, 3rd. We got 23, 17. Chips have spread around. You can see where they were from because Juan and DK had 50 mil between the two. So now they got 40. So 10 million kind of went to the sort of just sprinkled amongst the short stacks, and really been all of a sudden now for an hour. We're hour 15 in. We've lost one player and no one critically short. 2 10s. Queen 8 suited will make the call. Both players not in love with the flop. 10 still in the lead.
This is going to be interesting. This could fall into a check raise for Alisson. It's a bit wide, but generally people are not check calling these boards as much, paired boards. But yeah, it just goes check, check. So I think you could see Barack DeLacy betting here or checking. I think either one is fine. And he's choosing to show down here, and it's going to be pretty hard for Allison to bluff here because Barack has a lot of ace highs that play this way. It's not a great bluff spot. And Pavel's been pretty quiet this whole FT, just kind of hanging out. But we know that he's capable and he's in there. And now he wakes up with the ace king on the button. This could get interesting. It's a pretty weird spot for ace nine. Doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right to shove. Doesn't feel right to fold. Doesn't feel right to call. We're probably going to err on the side of aggression if we're from Brazil. Yeah, so
Wow.
he gets it
It's
in.
going in.
Yeah.
Ace king suited, ace 9 off. Ace king suited in the lead. Chop opportunities. Clubs are there already ahead. Needs a fade, a 9 or a chop. And man, that is a big moment for Pavel. I had on my money. I said I like this guy's game, and he gets in a really nice spot. AP, you could argue, like you said, when so it just shows you a bit of a. This is where you get to a bit of intel on a player. Shows he goes for it, right? He's not afraid. Close spot. You said you could fold, you could call. All right, you don't love folding, you don't love shoving, but that is.
Well, shoving's not really on the table like 30 effective or almost 30. Right. I mean, I guess it is, but not. I mean, ICM wise, it's not. You're either 3-bet calling them. You're not 3-bet folding. Is this your hand has too much equity and there's too much money in the middle, so it's 3-bet call or it's call. Or it's like some sick fold. But maybe that's like, maybe that's Barack's thing is like he finds those spots and he has a discipline to pass because he knows he can find other spots. Maybe Allison comes from a camp that's like just really leaning towards the aggressive side, which is good in tournaments in general. But there's also something to be said for in slow structures, being able to pass on marginal spots and finding other spots. Blinds and antes are always going up. So you have to bluff. That's the way tournaments are. You can't just always have it. So yeah, I mean, it's really easy in that spot to think that he made a mistake with the ace 9 because we're looking at cards up, right? Like you always say. But think about all the times where he 3-bets the ace 9 and Pavel just folds. He just happened to have ace king, but he has a bunch of hands that he's not continuing with. So that's kind of the risk you take is, the spot's not great, but the 3-bet is going to work a lot where he just raises the button and folds. Here we see DK laying on, putting the pressure on the medium stack. And I think he went like 3.5x from the small blind, and it's just not a good spot for the big blind, considering that there's, a 3 mil stack now, Alisson, a 5 mil stack, the other Brazilian Levi. He just doesn't want to defend marginal hands. So I think like whereas you may see a heavy limp strategy from the small blind leading up to the final 2 tables of this tournament, as ICM becomes more of a thing, we're going to start to see like a lot more raising from the small blind. That's what I think, especially in a spot like that where he can leverage the stacks.
Yep, it's well said as Brock here, 10-7 off against the early position short stack raise. Min raise, always inviting when you're closing action, but got to have some discipline and does pitch it. Can't blame him there. 8-handed, lots to play for, lot on the line, big money, 1.4 up top. Been crazy to say that in a 10K event. This is a Tuesday, August 20th. Mike Wasserman, myself, Jeff Gross. We are going to call a winner today. See who's going to get it done. And DK, man, I'm telling you, the thing jumps out at me is just spooky. The guy, like, you think about that, his average cash in the GGMillion is over $1 million right now. And he could keep that. It's just, I mean, top two again or winning it somehow. Like, it's just insane. I don't actually understand it. I gotta try to figure this out. I just can't figure it out. It doesn't seem right? It's literally like it means he's cashed every big one. Like, or taking top 2 or 3. He did. He won 2, and he got third. He got a heads up in another.
Yeah, I don't know. The stats have been, I think, off before. It's possible.
But I've seen it. No, I've seen it. I've been here. I mean, I called it. I know that's not. I don't think it's off. It's like he hit some like multi-million-dollar scores and won like one of the bigger ones already. So, yeah, it's just he's just crazy. Shows up, big time players, big spot. He's in here again in second right now with 8 left. Chips are evening out a bit though. Sort of some 10 mil stacks hovering around. You expect these to take a little longer. There's more chips, more players, right? Like it's just going to be also the money. Maybe people messing around a little less or less likely to want to flip or play big pots. We've already seen some caution with queens a few times. Yeah, this is, I mean, Juan is back up to 24 million. Tell me the sizing, what do you think the reasoning was for that huge sizing twice we saw against AP, against Allison, from Brazil when Juan had kings and then ace king, and he got it 2 times where AP actually had pretty good hands. He did call. Like, do you think that's exploitative? Is he doing that in the situation, or do you think that's player dependent? You think that's situation, like what makes him go that big? I've never seen that actually at the GGMillions. I don't think I've seen sizing that big in those spots. Out of position deep.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that come into play there. One is he definitely has played with Allison, so they have some sort of history. Malacca, and then there's just simply a leveling war. At this point, he knows the perception of him, and he also knows the tendencies of Allison. So he's kind of playing off of that. And then on top of that, like you said, another layer is the ICM implications of playing a pot against somebody that is at that deep out of position, that's very capable at any moment. So I think all of those things combined is just shows you how unbelievably good Juan is, because he's not afraid. Like, even when you watch some of these Triton events or like super high rollers, and you'll see it fold to Sean Winter in the small blind and he'll 8x from the small versus big at the final table. And you're like, what is this guy doing? Sometimes he has 8-4 off, and then other times he has like kings, And so he just constructs his range that way. I don't know if Juan has fully developed ranges in these spots, but if they're not fully developed, he's still a studied enough player to be able to do these things off the cuff and play the leveling war at a very high level. It's like chess.
For sure. No, it's a great example. A really tough player. And we got a mystery hand here with the nice hand from DK in the big blind. He drives a lot of different types of hands. This is a premium ace king, and we'll see who's going to be contending with him as we do get it folded to Levi Strauss so far. 5.3 million, 350 big blind to the button, blind on blind. The chip leaders. Ooh, this could be big. This could be big. I mean, wow.
How many bigs is this?
All right, limps in. Starts off with 10, not fireworks,
20, but 30, 40, 50 something bigs deep. Okay.
So 7 million's 20, right? So he's got 40 is 14. Yeah, 50 blinds for 17, and then more than that for the 3.5. Is that right? 3.5, 7, 14. Yeah, he's got a lot of blinds, and this is going to kick it up. Can't blame him here.
Honestly, dude, like, if he limp re-raises here, I'll just rip. I'm not trying to do anything too fancy. And if he had limp re-raised? So here we go. I guess this is where the fun starts. I have a feeling this board's not going to run out in a very lovely way.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's super interesting that the chip leaders here out of position, ace king. I mean, Juan Pablo Dominguez is going to definitely be cautious, right? He could have ace queen, he could have ace jack. He's not going to be trying to just go crazy here. And to start, I don't know if he's going to limp raise even a hand like that. So let's see. I mean, obviously very wet board, 2 clubs, straight draws everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly it. Like, you're just going to have so many horrible turn and river decisions now against good players, like top tier players. So I think his bet on the flop is reasonable, fine. I think going small is a mistake because you're just losing value because you're just getting called by a bunch of worse hands and draws, even worse aces. Now, this is the decision point in the hand. Either way, you already know, like, as being in DK's shoes, you already know if you check back, you're going to have a tough decision on the river. And if you bet, you're going to have a tough decision facing any type of aggression or even a continue. I'd probably, this is tough because Juan knows how favorable this is for his limp calling range versus DK's ISOing range. So you would hope that DK protects his range here by having some like middling hands in his ISOing range, but I don't blame him for checking back. I would probably check back a lot on this turn also.
Yeah.
And facing this river bet, I feel like, I think let me think about this for a second because I'm in the hot seat, right? Both draws, a lot of draws missed, but a lot of those draws contain a 10. I think you're kind of screwed here with the ace king. The fact that you don't,
it's true. It's true. What 10 does he have pre-flop, right? Like raising against the chip leader in what like 10x hands is he going to really be raising here? So it's, I mean, there's definitely way more, like you said, it's definitely a better board for Juan. So he knows that, everyone knows that, DK knows that.
The problem is that he can have 8-4 of clubs here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he could have so many things. He could turn a hand in the bluff with the pair like that missed. It's not this, jack, whatever. There's some hands he could have.
He could have 9-6 of hearts.
Right.
Like, so these spots are incredibly complex because of how wide blind versus blind ranges are.
Yeah, big shout out to the team with the mystery hand. This is quite a hand and some chess clock being burned. You can see every player 15 minutes, not used too much today. This one deserves it. This is a huge moment. Chip lead implications. Juan Pardo's either going to have a huge lead, a big lead, or DK will be your chip leader if he calls and wins. So there's a few scenarios. King 10, he does have it. Cheers to DK. Just makes another nice decision. He gets binked. And tilt is right, but actually in the end played it well and got away. So 28 mil. He is double second, 8 left. And look out. This could be the Juan Pardo Dominguez show right now. This is definitely separation has happened finally, where that was even not a huge pie. He was already at like 23, but he did separate to double second here as we see a 1-2-3 chip lead row. As Pavel over 10 mil too, though. AP is short. AP is short with 2.4 mil.
Can't count him out. Can't count him out. And this is lovely, like with the history they have now, blind versus blind. In this spot, he raised last orbit and he didn't have it. Now he has it with the ace queen suited. Doesn't matter because he has jack 6, but it does feel nice to actually have the ace queen suited. Wow, that I probably would have ended up folding the ace king as well, just because this board ran out in such a way that if I think Juan in that mystery hand, if I think Juan is capable of value betting 2 pair combos, I don't think I no longer think that we can call there. But and also like because both flush draws missed, I feel like Juan would likely use a bigger size. He seems to use those bigger sizings with like the really polar hands where he's like nuts or nothing. because in order for the bluff to get through, he's going to need to bet bigger on that board texture. So I felt like he has more value when he goes 2/3 pot. So I would have, whereas I would have played the last mystery hand different, I think I would have played it in a similar way here. Although when you check back the turn with ace king on that board, it's pretty hard to fold to one bet. I definitely in game could see myself just saying, you know what? It's Malacca. I'm just going to flick in the 4 mil here. And if I'm wrong, I have 30 blinds. You know, if I'm right, I have, 100 blinds. So we see the ace-7 opening here. Let's see what Levi decides to do. Could definitely go for a defend. Could get out of line. Probably not going to get too out of line here. I think he's contemplating calling or folding. Can't blame him. Especially given the presence of Allison's stack right now. It's pretty hard to start putting money in there with the 6-3 suited, unless you're much, much deeper. Problem being, with the 6-3 suited, if you do happen to flop an open-ended straight draw, a pair plus straight draw, or a top pair, you end up really kind of having to put all your chips in the middle. And he just doesn't even want to put himself in that spot. So
it's interesting too, the 30 mil stack now for Juan. I mean, he's cruising 2/8 here, things working out. I mean, no one, I've been impressed with the play. I mean, I've really been impressed. Not like that surprising at this level, but it's just been pretty. The only person I'd say AP's been kind of like really stepping out, right? He's like made some like pretty big peels, went with the ace-9, but other than that, like everyone, there's been some solid play. The queens, been interesting, some interesting hands for sure, interesting sizings.
Yeah, he won a huge pot from Ape Styles on like with 13 left or something. He had a set of 8s, Allison did, in a multi-way pot, and he check jammed the turn, like a massive check jam with a set on an ace high board. And it was where both of the other players were kind of capped, and it was like check through on the flop and then a small bet on the turn and a call by Ape on the button. And Allison just squeezed jammed like 30x. And Ape Styles was like, there's no value here, because he would have jammed his sets pre-flop, like all of his pairs. So he just like called and was drawing stone dead with top pair, like actual drawing dead. So, but now, okay, so he jams the Jack 8.
He's
it's
behind,
called
but
5.
it's got hope.
Oh,
Dang on the turn for life.
Let's go.
Gotta still fade. Ooh, does it? Woo! Does it? 3.7 million back in it. That's a big one for you. That's a friend, one of your boys. One of your picks today, still in 3.7 million, still 8-handed.
Let's go, Allison.
Those are big. That's the one where you're Levi Strauss. You got Brazil, you got pride, you're countrymen, but you want to see the knockout. You want to see that massive pay jump. You're at 8 already, 65K, and of course, dangerous player. Just like this, look at, you get it going. 3.8 is going to be winning this pot regardless. Don't really see, yeah, definitely with that way.
Yeah, he's not going to have any not all in sizings there. He has like 9 bigs. Yeah, I finally have my setup 6th show in where I have, because I'm on one screen here, because I kind of had to reconfigure my office setup for the stream, and to have everything kind of symmetrical. And I have finally have the chat here on the bottom right. I have the stream running behind our setup, so I can like actually go back and check sizings and stuff because it's clearer. So took a little adjusting, but finally got there. For all of you that maybe are watching that end up being on this stream at some point, that's the way you get it done. Have the stream up behind it. You can see the chat, you can see everything, interact a little bit. All right, so we see, wow, so he just goes with the ace deuce, just go. This is a troll. He's saying good luck with the 9 deuce just to give him a little sweat.
I mean, how tight Zubov has to call there is that's the thing about shoving that ace deuce. You're going to get some better aces, a bunch of hands to fold.
Like
Pretty high risk,
he's folding like probably sixes. He might even be folding better. I don't know. It's like 25, 26 effective or 25 effective. He's getting like ace 10 off to fold and he's shoving ace deuce. That means like, yeah, it's a wild spot. That again, like this is where DK is kind of shining, where he's, you know, capable of recognizing that spot for what it is and what Zubov's calling range is. So he just takes it down. I mean, even when you have ace deuce and you get king jack to fold, that's a big win, right? King jack has 42% equity.
Right. Not to mention threes and fours. You put fives.
Oh yeah.
You put in all these king, queen suiteds.
Yeah. They can't call.
Yeah. How high the ace though? What does he do with the ace jack suited, ace queen off? I mean,
it starts to get close in those spots with like ace jack suited and I mean ace jack suited might be a fold. But yeah, in chip EV always you can just remember like in chip EV you're crushing his range and you can always justify saying, you know what, I'm gonna go for it here. But yeah, usually when you look at those spots, it's like ace queen plus and like nines or tens plus, usually. Depending on the stack distributions. And then you just think about like I was at a final table yesterday where I had 50, I was 5-handed and the chip leader jammed into 3 of us and I had 15 bigs with ace jack and I covered the other 2 people behind me and I just called it off with ace jack because I knew how well I'm doing against the jamming range and I'm like, it was a knockout. So I need to cover people too. So I just went for it and he had king jack and then I was out, but I'm happy with I was happy when he flipped over the king jack. I'm like, okay, so my read on his range is like spot on. I felt like I was actually, and I was recording it. So, you know, I talked it out and then I made the call. I had him directly dominated. So, you know, that's all you can really do.
And this is interesting because Brock taking the ace 9 suit, and this is sort of one of those Levi knows that he definitely could have an ace deuce or some, you know, modest hand. Ace 8 is doing pretty well against everything pretty much everything that's not premium, although this is the one that actually has him pipped by a hair, which is brutal. But ultimately calling off here seems like a lot.
I think you might see ace 10 off doing this, ace 9. When you say this is close, if you actually think about the ranges, ace 8 suited starts to look really attractive here. At first glance, I thought this is like, he's just going to muck and it's a clear fold. But if you think about the hands he's jamming here, ace deuce, right? You have to think about what does he induce here? He induces like ace 10 suited, ace jack off. Maybe he even jams ace jack offsuit. Maybe.
He calls it.
I don't blame him for calling here.
In a great spot. Can he hold 3 queens? This is interesting.
Opportunities.
On the turn, a lot going on here. River. Oh, it's a slow peel. It's a club.
Oh my God,
it looks
GG.
Little. Wow.
Could have been a 3.
Running hot is right. That is quite a board for ace 9 versus ace 8 suited. The super sweat on the turn, and he does. It's a little non-diamond, no 8. No chop. Barack put him in a new position, basically tied for 3rd, and we are getting there now. People are moving, seats are shuffling. We have got ourselves a ball game. What a hold there! What a hold! Very close.
If he had the stream up and saw the way that Brock had been playing up to this point, I feel like he would have probably just like folded. It just so happened that, again, I'm being results oriented a bit with Barack, with the queen's hands, but he's been on the conservative side like for all the chips, right? These are spots where like significant amounts of his stack are going to go in the middle. In this particular hand, he was shoving, and you know, he's not actually at risk 100% of the time. But yeah, no, I don't blame him for calling with the ace 8 suited. It is a close spot, so I could see him going either way.
Run that through with me again for those at home, just obviously pretty common ones, but tell me that stats there. You see that's his Pavel's all-time stats on his HUD there, 27, 21, 50, 14. What does that represent, and how do you compare that to sort of what you would think a great player, or what you would expect to see?
Well, so Alisson had like a 9% 3-bet, and he had a bigger disparity between VPIP and PFR. So he's flatting in more spots. Generally, you see good tournament players. These stats have shifted significantly for good tournament players. There used to be a small disparity between how many hands they're playing and how many hands they're raising. It used to be like a 2018, a 22-20. Like there wasn't as much flatting, but now because there's a lot of defending the big blind, there's a lot of defending in position, like flatting the button with suited aces, small pairs, suited connectors, these types of things. Especially like those HUD stats probably include PKO, hands, and PKOs play completely differently. Like if you cover somebody, you just get to play all the hands, so you're just flatting a bunch of hands. In vanilla structures, you can't get away with that as much. So because there's no implied odds of winning a bounty. Okay, so we have, I'm going to go back and look. I think we have a small blind raise and a big blind defend, or a small blind flat. I need to go back and look. Give me 1 sec. Okay, small blind made it 1.4. Ace 8 called. He min bet the flop, and we saw a flop raise. And so he called. Now we're on the turn. Man, it must be so unnerving. Maybe not for DK, but to play against someone like Malaka that's capable of anything at any time. And you're like, wow, I have trips. I hope he doesn't rep that he has better, because it's going to suck.
And then I like this bet because even against the flush, you buy yourself the river card where the guy can't raise you. You get to check. You get to decide the river. You also get to hit a money card sometimes. I just think this is a smart bet in sizing here. Although he doesn't love the turn, of course. Completes. I mean, look, he had a gut shot. It completes some gut shots. He has flushes. Flush completes. It's
there's a lot that goes in. There's a lot of levels here. Like one is he just defended the big.
Wow. So, I just think, is there, I mean, I wasn't thinking, and then I started he's pausing. It's just, he's doing it. He's taking a hand and now he's raising. Like, this is a crazy hand, man. DK getting put to a Tesla and definitely not an easy spot, especially on a follow through.
What I was about to say is, I like the fact that DK bet here. I don't like his sizing against Malaka. Against other players, you can get away with the sizing, but I think you need to think about the SPR a little bit. You need to be a little more aware of like what hands you're representing. Oh my God, he made a straight.
Wow.
He was for sure going to bluff. And now he just got there, which is the beauty of having this hand as a bluff candidate. But when you look at this spot, he 3.5x from the small against big. On ace king, the nut advantage is actually the small blinds. He bets one big and gets raised. The hands that are actually raising the flop for DK are he might have more ace X or whatever, but the nut advantage is actually wands because he has ace king, he has kings, he has aces. On the turn, he has jacks. He can have a royal flush.
This is a crazy hand, and this is a crazy sizing. He makes his hand, and then even on a wild board, it's paired. It's got flush possibility, and he's going for a value bet against the hand call. I mean, this is like Juan Pardo, man. I am just the guy. Just gets it done, dude.
We have seen some crazy stuff, Jeff, on this show.
Yeah,
at these final tables, right? Like, we've seen people turn hands into bluffs. We've seen, this is it. It's going to work. This has to work.
It has to, right? This is insane. This is all insane. I'm honestly, this is so wild. Like, it's just so this particular hand might be my favorite hand I've seen on GGMillion. There's so much happening. It's the 1 and 2 stack.
100% this is a bluff.
And
right?
It's a bluff for sure. DK
I know. I'm just saying for the chat. Like,
no,
you and I understand
it's great, but like, yeah, it's wild. It's like no, listen, please.
Here's the thing. He's blocking ace 10, ace jack. He's actually trying to get Malacca to fold like worse, in his mind, worse full houses, right? He's 100% getting him to fold a straight. You would think. Neither of them have a heart in their hand, which is kind of irrelevant at this point. I mean, I'm so shocked and impressed. Maybe not shocked, but I'm impressed that he pulled the trigger here. Even if it doesn't work, I don't care. This is just gangster. To have the presence of mind to know that you're like to have a bluff in this spot is just so cool. Like, Malacca can have kings full here, and he hates this spot, right? He could have pocket kings, and he knows that DK can have ace 10, ace jack. You know, he can have a royal flush. Like, he has hands. I would have trouble calling here. But you know, this is Malacca. So, and it's also DK who's very capable, but this is savage. This is savage.
This is my favorite hand I think I've seen on GGMillions, and it's just such a big spot. Oh
my God, he calls.
He calls. I mean, this is high level stuff. GG, good game. He's got to give, hats off, man. That is everyone. That's a unanimous good game, other than Hazuzuka. Everyone else giving daps. 43 million. You got a new sheriff in town. Juan Part of the Ming is on my team. I know this guy can play. That was a spice hand. And let the man cook. He is cooking 42 million. That was sick. That was a sick hand. That is a highlight. That was a true highlight. That is a poster hand for the GGMillions.
I would love to hear his thought process in that hand. Malacca's thought process. That was so sick. I guess at the end of the day, he's getting a good price, you know. It's like he's calling like 7 million to win 21, you know? And if he's wrong, he has 11 million. So, you know, if it was for his tournament life, it might be a bit different. Like, he might not find that call. But also the hand might have played out differently. So, dude, if you ever have him on, I want to hear about that hand. I would love to hear his thought process. Because he's the guy that folded the kings, you know, in Triton, the aces. Like, he can find the fold, and he can also find the call. It's just so sick.
Spice. That was
so
spice,
sick.
Man. The chat loves it. I'm digging it. Everyone's on board. Thumbs up if you think that's a big hand. Appreciate everyone subscribing to the channel. That is part of the giveaway on Twitter. Top 3, GGPoker Twitter, $100 ticket. Go there. Guess your top 3. Not too late. Still 6 left. Don't have to get it perfectly right. Top 3. My Twitter, Jeff Rose Poker. Please go check it out. Get in the giveaway. The $50. Love giving it away. Love giving the money away. Let's do it. Let's give it out. Let's give it. Let's get it. 1,500 on watching. Big show. Big money today. What a final table.
The sick thing about that is, like, when he goes 10%, he induces like thin value shoves. Maybe that's why he called. But then, like, hands like pocket, like the top of his range is, I guess top of his range is ace jack. And then he has ace 10 and he has jacks. But he also, like, you have to give the guy so much credit to be able to be bluffing. Because that's all the queen jack is, just pure bluff catcher. It's just so sick. It's just such a sick hand. Maybe DK needed to be a little bit deeper. And the shove needed to be for a little bit more so he wasn't getting such a good price. You never know. He could just say, like, you know, maybe Malacca is like, math, and just like flicks it in. You know? Getting 3 to 1. Let's see what you got. We know he's not shaking. He's not going to be shaken by the money. I imagine we're going to see a shove. Yeah. Malison.
and doesn't even think about it. I mean, again, knowing that he wouldn't have the best hand there pretty much, but he decides just not math-wise to even call it off there. Also keeps the stack kind of short. What are your thoughts on that? Keeping a bit of a shorter stack, is that relevant, valuable? Where do you draw the line in the cutoff to not calling, to, you know, to have that? Is that even in his thought process there?
It depends on what how big of an edge you think you have at this final table. So clearly, I mean, he's the best player left. I don't think there's any real debate about it. Everybody knows it. So I would say it's pretty valuable for him right now. Yeah, to have Allison in there, because by him not calling there, he gets to put pressure on everybody else while Allison only has 10 blinds or less. And that's just going to yield him over, you know, a bunch of iterations of the next couple of orbits, or, you know, 5, 6, 7 orbits. He's just going to be able to hammer away at these guys, and he doesn't have to risk a lot of chips to do it. Min raise, min raise, min raise. If somebody opens, he can play a pot with them. He can check raise with nothing. He can lead into them because everybody has 20 blinds, right? So he knows how to leverage the stacks in a lot of different ways. He doesn't have to solely rely on winning all ins. He can just really stab away and put pressure on these guys and have outsized rewards with small bet sizings. So I think it's extremely valuable, especially if Allison had even less. It would be even more valuable, because then the other players have to tighten up even more. Or if there were 2 short stacks instead of just 1, you know, we'll see how it develops. But I guarantee you, Juan is capable of keeping somebody in. Like, if the big blind, if he's like small blind versus big blind, and the big blind has 4 bigs and everybody else has like 15 to 20, he might walk walk the short stack and just keep him in, just so he can hammer away at everybody else. Like, that's the kind of savage that I believe he is, MTT wise.
Well, he's fired up another pot of coffee here. I'm dialed in. This is wild. This is literally this is exciting stuff. I've taken so many notes. There's so many interesting hand spots I want to look at, talk about, sizings, plays, shoves. That hand was sick. That was a high level hand. That was fun to watch. That was fun to be a part of. That was big. I mean, look at the money right now. 6 left. Everyone guaranteed 368, 477 for 5th. Like, man, big money here. Big money spot.
Yeah, it's crazy. 1.4 up top. I mean, they're already, what are they guaranteed now? There's 6 left. Get 370K.
Brock gonna ship it in here. Fair fight. Pretty even. About as coin flip as you can get. 7s versus Jack Queen suited. No club for 7s. This is
I'll take the Queen
middle,
Jack.
right in there. Hello. Action. Gonna be, it's a clean turn. 2-1 favorite just about for 7s.
Green.
Can it hold it is a clean river, and that is GG for your man. Hey, Allison, AP will
GG, buddy.
And golfer claps. Big money up to almost $500,000 now for the 5 remaining. Things are going a little quicker, and we have got let's see, for our perspective,
you win.
We got I got Juan, right?
I'm out.
You're in trouble. Are you dusted?
I'm dust.
You're dust. The audience gets a $50 ticket. We'll get that queued up for you guys. That's one of 4 giveaways. It's gonna be $200 in total giveaways. 100 on GG Twitter to guess the top 3. That's one. 50 on my Twitter, Jeff Gross Poker pin tweet. That's one. And it's gonna be $50 ticket for someone here. We're gonna get the keyword. And Mike, tell me before I forget. I want to know, where can people go sign up for your coaching, your class? And this is actually what, 7s here. He rips it. 5 left. Ooh, what's he got? How many blinds? That's 20 blinds still, right?
Yeah, pretty standard. I think this is a pretty close spot, actually. Yeah, so he's gonna fold.
Last time he said he's got some trolls in him, but yeah, he does fold. Does not want to call it off with 7s. Decides to wait for a better day. And 5 left there. But yeah, where can people, if they want to sign, they want to get a hold of you, how do they message you? How do they sign up? What do they do to get into your stuff?
Yeah, thanks for asking. You can look me up. I'm kind of like changing my stuff over to Small Edges Poker, but you can email me at strungout, STRUNG out, OUT, coaching @gmail.com for like prices and availability for individual sessions, mostly just low and mid stakes coaching. And for actual training content, I have, obviously you can go to Assassinato's Gumroad page. You can also go to mine, that is Small Edges Poker. You can also look it up through Strung Out Poker as well. Those are just the different ways. I kind of wanted to switch it over, but then I saw that like the algorithms already have like links, you know. I'm a fish. I'm just a poker player, just trying to try different things. And like Google already lists stuff. So like you click on a link, if you change the URL, it's just like a dead link. So I can't actually change the name branding wise, but yeah, that's it. And then, you know, we're doing a webinar with Advanced Poker Training coming up here on Friday. Brian will be in there, B Paris, and Alex Fitzgerald will also be running the webinar. So yeah, come check it out. I appreciate
nice.
you.
Paris been on the show. I want to have Alex on as well. I actually was just
Can't believe you haven't had him on.
Yeah, I just actually had asked him recently. So hopefully coming up. I think probably he's busy. This is a busy time too for him. I know you made appreciate you making the time, and he did say he would like to come on. I was just emailing with him. That's funny. I haven't really ever got to know him, but I know he's a great player, and yeah, look forward to having him on. So
yeah, Alex is a I like Alex. I'm trying to think of how to describe him. He's unique.
How much
unique
poker would you say he's playing these days? Is he grinding a lot, or is he doing more coaching, other projects, or is he still?
I don't know. He goes through phases where he's playing, and then he goes through phases where he's mostly coaching. I think overall he's like 80-20 coaching to playing. So at any given time, he's probably making content or coaching. And he plays mostly either for enjoyment or to keep his ear to the ground so that he can continue to add value to the coaching community. If you don't mind, can I run to the restroom?
Yeah,
quick break.
I got you covered. I'm gonna actually
grab a coffee.
Break. Yeah, get a little freshen up. I don't know if this is how long this is gonna last with our friend Juan getting after it, but we might be heads up by the time you get back. It feels like that stage where it's getting going. Barack,
yeah, I'm gonna go quick
in there, but no, yeah, do it, knock it down. I'm here. I'm gonna get you guys this tweet as well, the $100 ticket, and I'm gonna cue the giveaway here shortly. Let's get that in. Let me get that going. We got a lot going on. This is a $100 ticket. You must be subscribed. Hit that thumbs up as well. Be eligible. And I'm gonna put mine in a bit as well. But we will see a $50 giveaway ticket. I think it's a cash ticket for the $50. I gotta cue the giveaway. We'll wait till we get to three-handed. Don't want to be spamming too long. Hope everyone's enjoying. Love being here. Love what's going on. Love the GG WSOP merge or acquisition by GG. I mean, just huge stuff for poker. Honored to be a part of it. Honored to be hosting GG Millions each week. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Let me know if I can answer any questions. I'll try to keep up with the chat. I'm rusty. I used to do Twitch. You guys know I love Twitch. I love streaming. So many great streamers these days. So cool to see poker content in such a good place. I just finished my podcast studio. Had my 200th episode with Ninja. On YouTube, you guys can check my channel. I appreciate that too. That's always great. If you guys have ideas, you have suggestions, people you want to have on the podcast, let me know. Always looking for more, and now doing more live. Just recorded 3 lives. Should have one first ever live from the studio dropping. Got some cool ones coming out. Not just poker. Do some other stuff besides poker, but love to have poker crushers, people of all different types of industries come on, and it's fun to chat. So that is what's going on. And there we go. John G in the building. What's up, man? Good to see familiar faces and new faces. And I think the GG Million community is amazing. And I can tell you, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a lot changing. We added the pregame show, got some other things cooking, rather just show action versus talk. But I can tell you there's things going to be for you guys watching, try to get you guys more involved, giveaways, guessing. Flow Show's coming back. I'm telling you, I'm back now going to be more in a set environment. I think I have thought about doing like a couple hour streams, sort of like a news show or daily sort of stuff. I just want to be consistent with it. And I place my life with my kids and just what's going on. I don't feel like I'm able to just say, okay, every day I'm going to do this for a couple hours yet. I'm close. I'm thinking about it, but this GG Millions is great. Love doing that every Tuesday. Love the podcast. And, We'll see. We'll see. Flow. It would be great if I wish I lived somewhere like if I was living full time in Brazil, I would definitely be streaming. I would definitely be doing it. No doubt about it. I love it. Just with not being able to play GG where I live, that is a challenge. That is a challenge. What was it like talking to Ninja? It was great. I actually played in a cash game with Ninja, and just before, like a few weeks before, for a Nutcase Milk event there at Poker Go Studio. It was fun. Played a cash game. Helmuth was there. ElkY. A lot of Joel from Nutcase, and yeah, we had an amazing time. It was fun. That was cool. So played poker. He loves poker. Genuinely loves poker. So that was fun to do. And then talking to him was great. He's Michigan roots. Loves the Lions. That's where I grew up. Michigan. We have some stuff in common, and obviously streamed. One of the best streamers, biggest streamers. Done it forever. But yeah, that was fun.
It was a pretty sick spot.
Yeah.
Oh, in my mind, he was bluffing, but he has a diamond. I wonder if Brock's considering raising. I don't know. I didn't see the action.
Yeah, I mean Brock's sitting nice. These guys got 40 and 20 with the other stacks. It's pretty clean. Pretty clean. And I think something that you will notice, and I want to look back at that hand where Barack folded, or I'm sorry, checked back where a spot, I think it was nines, it was like 10-10, some board where he could have valued better. Queens, maybe. It was even queens again, wasn't it? Where he like checked back a spot with Jack double paired, or Jack paired, and he just didn't bet. And like, again, he kind of at that moment had 11 million, and then it was like 3 million, 3 million, 4 million around him. He just kind of was like sets up. I just feel like he's one of those guys that's so textbook. Like he's going to be here. You can just feel it. Like, he'll be top 3, right? He's got 17 or 6 and 6. He's good. He finds a way to sort of just like get things done accordingly. He doesn't make big missteps. He takes variance down. Not like tight. Yeah. It's not like he's like tight. It's just that he understands the progression of how tournaments work and how to ladder. And I feel like saying ladder does him a disservice because it's not like he's trying to ladder, but he just knows how to he gets the flow of the game. He knows where to kind of push, where to sit back, where he needs to be aggressive, where he doesn't. And he's definitely puts himself in a lot of good positions, and we see that.
Yeah, he understands that you don't need to have big hands to win chips. And sometimes those spots where you end up having to go be all in for most of your chips and your tournament life effectively, he's like considers he looks at it differently than a lot of other players. It's the Helmuth approach. It really is. That's why I wanted to call him Helmuth. Because he's like, oh, I'll just muck the queens because this spot kind of sucks. This spot sucks. I'll just muck it. I'm not sure here. I'll just check it. But then he finds other spots to chip up. And then he gets called by ace-8 when he has ace-9, Sorry, I'm just finishing this bar.
You're good. You're good. We're going to cue that giveaway soon.
So I guess with his style, he's going to check call here. It's such a small C bet. So small.
See, I mean, this is the thing, though. This is not just Barack's not just like, oh, like, let me just play super cautious. He's still willing to step out there and, play his equity and push spots. Like, but it's different, right? Queen, he just doesn't want that. He doesn't want that flip. He doesn't want that craziness. And here he just says it's too good. Over, king high flush draw, gonna get folds. Like when that guy 3-bets that spot in that position with that many people left, I think that's the thing. When he has queens, he's just like, all right, he's gonna have ace king or have me crushed there, and I just I'm not interested in ace king.
Yeah, it seems like Brock knows kind of where to find edges in MTTs, like you said. Yeah. I don't know how much studying he has or hasn't done, but he definitely knows what he's doing. Yeah, I would have been surprised if he called there with the king 7. A little bit too loose.
I got so many notes, so many things to talk about. This has been an absolutely crazy show. And the fact that it's a big money show, it's been like more aggression. There's been more wild hand sizings. I don't know. It's been sick. Let me ask you a question. If you're watching at home and you're seeing this and you're taking notes of like how would you I think I've asked you before, but what would be your best advice to say, hey, these are the best in the world. This is a 10K buy-in, final table. Tournaments, you don't just get to go to the final table. And also a lot of turns players are going to play different in the tournaments that most people play. And most of the, even now, World Series events, 1,500 online or a 1K or 250 or even $100 or $20. It's a very different thing. So how would you sort of say to be careful or to adjust? How what would be like one of the basic things you could tell people to sort of just don't think you can just do this, you know?
Yeah, understand that when you're watching these streams, this is the culmination of an entire tournament, right? This is the final 9 players. This is a final table. This is not how the rest of the tournament plays. It's very unique, and these situations are very nuanced and unique to final tables specifically against these specific player types. And a lot of times just a bunch of crushers. So I wouldn't assume that because Malaka 3-bets Alisson to 2.6 million at 200K big blind, when he's like 6x 3-betting him, that doesn't mean that you should be 6x 3-betting people. You know, I think that's the first thing that I would say is like understand that these situations are unique to this final table and this lineup and these stack sizes and stack distribution. Yeah, that's the first thing I would say. And the second thing I would say is still try to put yourself in the shoes of these players. We have the fortunate we're fortunate to be able to see the cards. It's a lot easier for us to make these decisions and know what's right. But in game, when it's cards down, it's just like playing a mystery hand every single time, you know? And those spots are tough. At least they can be. So yeah, I think I would continue to not be too biased about how to play these spots because you can see the cards. Like be aware that you can see the cards and try to think about what you would do and why, rather than just judging whether someone wins or loses and if they're good or bad. Oh my God, he actually found the 10. So he went pot on the turn against Juan's big blind defending range.
Wow.
Which I like. If you're gonna have, there's not a lot of natural double barrel bluffs here on this board texture, like rainbow ace king 3, 6. Having the queen of spades, I guess, is like a pretty good card for him to have. And he actually finds the 10. So the question is now like what sizing he goes for. I guess he set up a pot size shove, so maybe he's gonna do that, but he's not gonna get called.
Wow. How big a deal is it to have the ace of spade here? I mean, the ace 8, it's still pretty hero-y, right? Anyway, even if like you don't have a kicker. Bluffs, what bluffs does he have? I mean, does he turn? Yeah. What's going on?
Jack 10, queen 10. He wants, like, if he's bluffing, he wants Juan to have spades, right? So I think Juan just finds a fold here, honestly, but it is Juan. There's just too many value hands that Brock can have here. He can have a set of 3s, a set of 6s, ace 3, ace 6. Maybe like those are thin at this point, but he can also have, he raised pre and Juan defended. Like, I don't think the fact that Juan has the ace of spades in his hand contributes too much to his decision here. I could be wrong, but yeah, also the fact that someone mentioned that there's a bunch of weak aces and one pair of hands in Juan's defending range. He might feel like he's close to the top where he needs to defend this sometimes. But range versus range, like Barack has the nut advantage, range advantage, everything. He has all of it. But maybe because of that, Juan feels like he needs to call sometimes. Like I was saying with his top pairs, because he ends up here with top pair with one, like, ace 9, ace 8, ace 7, ace 5, ace 4. I guess you don't want to have ace, I don't know, ace 4, ace 5 as much because you block some bluffs. But I think that's a little bit optimistic.
Right. Yeah, is he opening like 5-7 or 4-5 suited there? I mean, in
him maybe not as much as others.
Right. Well, it's also interesting because the 6 million stacks each, right? There's 6 mil, basically, and those guys are short. But he knows the Brock's capable, and it looks stronger how he is. You're right. The Queen 10 bluff, the Jack 10 bluff, maybe of spades, and he's really thinking long at this. He's burning clock, and he's been perfect. He hero called correctly before. He makes the right decision so often. Is he going to get it right here? And if he does call and lose, Barack is going to surge to a massive stack and be the overwhelming chip leader. So, I mean, a lot on the line here. And these are the two guys, again, 1 and 2. This is what's been interesting today. You don't see it so often, the 1 and 2 stacks tangoing when they're comfortably 1 and 2. And we've seen this a few times today. Man, think long, think wrong. He is in the tank.
Yeah. Khan is asking if having the ace of spades removes some of Barack's busted flush draws. The problem is the busted flush draws would have he would have a top pair with it. So like he wouldn't be turning ace jack into a bluff here. Like it's just, I know he's thinking for a long time that he's going to end up folding here because Barack is just not. It's so unnatural. This is such a board texture where it's just under bluffed. Yeah, I mean, I could see how he could talk himself into calling, but like if you just look at it at face value, like this is just a spot where you have to side fold.
Yeah, I mean, but again, this is 40 mil. You got 40 mil next hand, 40 mil. Your boy, he's got 27. You got 40. No one else has chips, or you call and somehow you lose, which he does. You're at 26. You're not the chip leader. You're still healthy. I mean, you're still in second. So yeah, I mean, from that perspective, he really is. He is taking this one down. He is torn. He is absolutely torn here. Gets it right. Gets it right again. I mean, listen, that one didn't, to me, it didn't seem like, I just think you got to kind of fold. But again, cards up, and he got it right last time. Very, very different. Again, 2 for 2, though, in both similar-ish spots. A little different, but similar. Gets it right. Here we go. Just going to work. 2 6 mil stacks.
Yeah.
Knows he doesn't want to call off light. Juan Pardo Dominguez, very impressive live resume. Going to just make sure I get it exactly right. But he is a sicko. He's been around. He's been doing it and doing it well. This is a man who has got, I think, over 11 million in earnings, 4th all time in Spain. You got Adrian Mateos, Sergey Rich, Carlos Mortensen, Sergio Ado up there in that category. That's about it. He is in a world of his own. Online as well, over 20 million in GG. Not many people with that, they can say they've done that. He is in control here. We'll cue that giveaway again. Must be following, must be subscribed, GG, to win the giveaways on Twitter as well. Top 3 getting a little harder now. There's only 5 left, but you can still get that $100 tweet. Jeff Gross Poker. I'm gonna throw in my link one more time, give you guys a chance at that.
Do we know who Hazazuka is?
No, I don't believe that's confirmed.
Austria? Austrian flag?
Yeah, he's won before GGMillion. He plays a tough player. Just seems super tough.
I'm surprised he just called here. He didn't jam? Interesting. See if I can look him up.
All right, my $50. Who gets it done? I mean, money on, I guess it's a pretty big favorite, Juan and Barack. I wouldn't be shocked to see Pavel find heads up or, make it just sort of surge out of nowhere. He's just sort of just lurking, always dangerous, just sort of doing his thing. Again, Barack and Juan, though, kind of have got a good lead, a good situation, that's for sure. Here he goes. Queen 3 suited. Barack again. Call queens, play coy, fold pre to a raise 3-bet, and then just rip Queen 3 suited, risking it. You know what I mean? Just dangerous. The guy has he's just got it. He just has that it. Just seems to just, why isn't Pavel of kings there or eight? You know what I mean? He just is timing, tempo. Just a guy you got to give credit to.
Yeah, we can see he understands tournaments very well. And Pavel's just been pretty solid hanging out. I think partly because of just card distribution. And Zubov, I think I feel like Zubov plays a similar style to me. Where he's just like picking his spots. He has some 3-bet folds, but mostly 3-bet calls. One of the benefits of being in position on the two chip leaders, and he had been pretty much for the whole day, is you get the opportunity so frequently to be able to attack a wide opening range. And it's just worth so much in tournaments, especially shorthanded. So him having position here is still important, but his fold equity is diminishing. So Zubov can't wait too long. You really want to avoid being in the spot where you're battling it out with another, 8 big blind stack to see who can get the ladder. Cause then you're just relying on luck and relying on winning all ins. So if I was like Zubov, I would be looking to try to find some open shove spots to put pressure on other players, because otherwise I'm going to have to call it off and run it 100% of the time. And it's just better to be the one that's shoving and not getting called sometimes. This is interesting. I mean, just looking at how this is playing across future streets. I mean, ace of spades is got some potential for sure. Yeah, he just starts off with a big bet. And he just immediately makes a 4 indifferent. Like, this is sick. He just gets a 4 to fold. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, we're at the juncture now. It's been 2 hours, 15 minutes. We've seen some sort of different stages. We lost Simon early and then been a little bit reserved. And now we got 2 big stacks again with the chips. And there's 2 really short, 1 in the middle. So Pavel is sort of hoping nature takes its course to get to 3. I mean, look at the pay jumps, huge. 5 gets 477. Third gets 799. Second, $1 million. So between 5th and 2nd, about a little over 500K jump. Lot to play for, a lot on the line. Zubov having himself a big day no matter what. Got to be happy. Was in 8th, already locked up 5th, and he's ahead of 5th right now with 5 remain. So he's got a chance for a really, 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 really epic score here. Ace-8 suited. These are tight. These are tough spots. Chip leader opening, knows it's going to be wide. You could, again,
it's close.
I think it's close. I think that's the question there. Does Barack, if you switch Barack and Zubov, do you think Barack rips that ace-8 suited? If you just literally flip their stacks in position, if it's Barack there with that stack 5.8, does he rip it on that open?
Given how aware he is of tournament dynamics, I would assume that he would. Also, if I was Zubov, I would have shoved the ace-8 suited. Because my opponent has 10-7 suited, the same suit. So I have to go all in against that hand. Har. No, but even cards down, I think it was a good spot. If they were 6-handed and he was like UTG1 against the UTG Open, it's a little more marginal. But being in the cutoff there, I think you got to take it.
I'm going to let you guys know the winner of the $100 ticket for GGPoker here on their Twitter. Again, that's every week. You can count on that to guess the top 3. Might as well be following them. And again, subscribed on here. It's part of the requirement. Hit the subscription, the thumbs up. That's if you're enjoying the show. 1,500 plus watching. Jeff Gross alongside Mike Wasserman. We're going to call a winner. No deal making available. And again, GGPoker has unveiled this year's exclusive WSOP online series, August 18th to September 30th. 33 bracelet events. Pretty nice. What the heck, man? I mean, just the King 9 suit. All right, what is Barack calling with there? Does he, I mean, what is he calling with? Does he call 10s?
I don't find that shove. Wow.
That is a sickness.
That's almost 50. That's 40 something blinds.
In this poker players, I don't really. What up, EK? Good to see everyone in the building. Let me see how many people are alert right now. We have 1,500. Where is everyone watching from the world? We got an all-in King 9 to Ace Queen. Ace Queen in the lead. Queen high flop. Pretty good start. Turn Jack picks up that gut shot. Needs a 10 or a king, or we're down 2-4, and it is clean. Hazuzuka is gonna stay in it. Barack, little bit of a blemish. 23 mil. Man, Zuboff. He wanted that one. That was now he's on the chopping block. King 10 off here. Ace deuce suited going to be opening shortly. Suited ace, of course. He's just ripping it. I mean, these are the ones where when it works out and you just keep picking it up, you're like genius. You see the real run over, and I see you're like you're processing. I'm processing. There's a 20 mil stack. Like, I mean, this is crazy. And we do see it sometimes where you just run right into it right away into kings, or someone has aces, 10 mil and whatever. But is it too much, or is it just enough? Is it too, like, does he need to do that? He's got 47. Is it necessary, or is it mandatory?
I think against better player, like against fish, it's probably better to just min raise, because like their range that jams on you versus calling it off is like inelastic. It's the same thing. Like they have a go broke range, whether it's call it off or shove. And against those players, like obviously risk the minimum, because you can just play post flop or get it through, get the min raise through. But against players that are going to find proper re-steal ranges against you, like maybe it is better to shove. What I'm actually thinking about is like, what is his actual range there? Because the first one was suited King 9. The second one was suited Ace Deuce. And I haven't studied these exact spots.
Yeah.
But it really makes me curious. I'm doing some sessions with Dara O'Kearney about ICM. So maybe we can look into some of these spots, because I'm kind of interested to know what his actual, like, do suited queens make it into the like 45 big blind shove, or is it only suited kings and suited aces? Because my hunch is that it's suited kings and suited aces, because they block the actual hands that will call you. Because like ace queen offsuit is folding for Brock, right? Ace queen suited is folding. I didn't even want to call with ace king because of the stacks.
Ooh, then it's unfair. And Pavel, though, I mean, honestly, this is tough because like you just, you can't shove obviously with the 3 mil. You're covering 2 people here, but Juan's gonna be messing about. So like this is dirty. Like click. What about a little just click here? Is he gonna do it like
for sure
2.1? Or does he rip it? Yeah, 2.1.
No, this is top of range.
It's got to be, but it's just sick. I mean, I put a 50 ball on him, right? Out of my 100 units, I got 200 coming if Juan can close out here. And this is Pavel. This is where it's not fun. You just believe. He's messing around so often here. But then he knows. You're almost like, really? You're just going to do it? Because I know you're supposed to do it. And I actually have a good hand. And that's why poker's fun, man. I love poker. It's just so fun. And then in the moment, can you suss it out? Do you get it right? Oh, he does step into it. Juan,
he's the guy.
Has the goods. Has Pavel on the ropes. The 2 short stacks. Can't believe it. Clean flop. How many times does it not work out? King on the turn. 2 overs, but the 1 over he has to fade. Can he do it on the river? does fade it, and that is big
Wow.
time news for all in. There is 4 left. Pavel goes out, was in third, 5 left, and that is everyone is fist bumping. I mean, that is
Zubov
crazy.
is a happy boy right now.
Do you blame Pavel there with the ace-9 suited in that situation?
If anybody earned it, it's Malacca. You know. One thing I noticed is his 3-bet is 14%, dude. That's higher than everybody else's. And the only way that you can run a 14% 3-bet profitably is using a small sizing. So it means that he's really messing with people a lot with these small 3-bets. And because they all know that, they're forced to widen their range that they go broke with against them. And it's like, I've seen him 3-bet fold in the spot off of 14 effective. Like, I gotta just raise, get it in shorthanded here with the ace-9 suited. I don't blame him. He just ran into it, Oh my god, dude.
Wow, this is crazy. He hits a jack, he's got a chance.
Actually live.
Another one, he needs help though. This is send help, send it all. This is wild. 95% to be 3-handed. It is not paint. It's not a jack. It's a knockout. That is 3-handed, and we're gonna cue the giveaway up here.
Woo! And you can't blame the jam because he has just enough chips to have some fold equity against the open. And he knows he knows the guy's opening. Like, I don't know, but at minimum 50% of the deck, you just can't pass on 2 Broadway cards. And he just has 2 queens. The guy's drawing stone dead. This is, I learned from somebody who plays a lot of hands. And when you see him close out a tournament, this is what it looks like, especially a big field tournament. They don't have it a bunch. The stuff works. They find the hero calls, and then they card rack. And you just don't want to get in their way, and you can't stop them. Like when Malacca's picking up chips and finding these shoves with no hands, and everything is just coming together. Like it's just going to be a nightmare to be playing with him right now, shorthanded, especially for all the money, right? 800K for third. It's almost double that for first. 1.4 up top. So they're playing for like almost a 250K pay jump here, and then about a 400K pay jump. Heads up. So yeah, GG to Hazuzuka. He hung in there, and yeah, I mean, dude, not a bad job at all. He picks up 617K. I mean, that's 617. That's 600, or is that 600 buy-ins?
It's a lot of money. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the keyword though, $50 giveaway. And we got aces for the shorty against 10-6. Got the 10. Dangerous. 5 outs, 2 cards to pull it. Needs a 10 or 6, or we're going to go to a double up, at least for the short stack for the time being. Oh, what's going on there? That is right? The nine of hearts.
Oh, it couldn't have been
scary board. Scary board for aces. He's going to keep it rolling. But yeah, keyword here, $50 ticket, GGPoker. I'm sorry, GGWSOP space Mike. Shout out to Mike Wasserman coming in today, and your GGPoker username. Going to be $50, not $100. I did win it. Got a dinner. We got 6 things. We got dinners and things lined up. We might have to do a full night, full thing. We got a lot of back and forth here. So good luck to everyone. Must be subscribed. Hit that thumbs up. Big day today, historic day. Everyone here guaranteed $7.99. Looking like a heads-up showdown between Barack and Juan Pardo, but our unknown, I believe, satellite winner, never in the GG Millions cash. He is there. Zubov wasn't 800. He is fighting 3-handed, ace-3 suited, feeling quite a ride. Yeah, 800K. That's a lot of buying. That's a lot of. It's a lot of. It is a lot. That is a lot of money coming his way, and there's more possibly to come. 9-5 here, gonna fold. Little different scenario. 3-handed 9-5 off to just jam, gets the walk.
They are going to run it here.
That is correct. This could be. We could be heads up. We could also be in a 3-way where Juan just gets to go crazy.
Oh yeah.
King Jack. Good flop. Heart for the sweat. Nope. 4, 5, 6, 7 needs help. King or Jack, or we are going to be continuing. It is not. No paint. Slow peel safe. Zubov is in it 3-way, and now Juan, talk about wide shoves. Juan, you can't construct it. How's that, Juan? How's your day gonna go? Well, I'm going to get the chip lead. I'm going to knock it down. I'm going to shove wide, and then I'm going to get it down where I have 60 against 12 and 13 at 60, where everyone has 20 blinds, and I have the chip lead. This is a nice spot for Juan, I'll tell you that. And he could whittle down. We could see, depending on distribution, him shake it down even where they're both pretty short, depending. Like, here we go. Ace deuce, another good spot. Another good spot. Just ripping it in. I mean, this has been textbook.
This is where champions are. They really shine. Is the spot that Juan's in right now. Like, this is just going to be a bloodbath. Considering he's going to find the open shoves that you might not need to in a lower stakes tournament. Like, this is a totally different spot than what we were seeing earlier. But yeah, I mean, this is, oh, geez. This is crazy. This is cool that we get to watch this, honestly.
It is fun. We got the giveaways working. We got it all working, and we got a situation here where Juan could just really show us how to go. But again, these things are always, it doesn't even matter, right? Like, there are times where, yeah, you double it, depending how it goes. Like here, for example, Barack might find the limp or so, you know, might catch. I don't think he's just shoving everything, though, like the 6-7 off. Like,
he has to limp. He has to limp. He can't
he's
raise
not
here.
Just ripping it. There's no way. Look at it. The guy's too good. He's so dialed in. He's just not. He doesn't even go for it. Now he's got the top pair. He's got equity. He's got 5 outs 2 times. Barack even checking.
I wonder if Barack just goes with like a big check raise, or does he just go check call? I mean, I guess you.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is Zubov is loving this. I mean, look, he could still hit the deuce 4 ace. Counterfeits are available, but this is a top 2 in a limp pot when he has aces. I mean, you just, whatever this man had for breakfast, whatever mental coach, yoga, exercise, cold plunge, he might have done it all. He is having himself a day. Let's see if he can fade the river here. I mean, as it stands, he is in a position to be heads up with all the cookies versus an unknown with really no results. Barack would be a much likely challenging opponent. At the same time, Zubov, we don't know much about him. He's unknown. That can also be harder to play against sometimes. All right, well, there you go. Writing's on the wall. This is really no path away from third. Barack, I mean, 6-7, just such a clear, nice looking thing.
No way he's gonna find a fold.
No,
of course. The SPR is one.
Of course he can't. He's got all the 5x, 3x, just stone bluffs. He's got, I mean, whatever. He could have value. He could hit a queen. He could value shove a 7. I mean, Barack, he's taking a second, but we know it's going in. And he's actually, I don't know. Barack's done some unicorn stuff with queens in different spots, but I mean, yeah, that would be too much. That is GG heads up for the title. What a run for Juan Pardo.
Good job, Barack.
Can't sing and say enough what he's going to be doing today. That DK hand was special. 1 million locked up. Barack, what a score, man. Congrats to you. Hope to have you on, man. Please reach out. Love to have you on as a guest. And anyone at this final table, anyone that plays the GG Millions, please reach out. We have a lot of requests for guests, special stuff coming up. And here we go. Heads up for the title. Mr. Zubov, can he do the unthinkable and come back? He's got a tall task versus a worthy opponent. And good game is right. 7 figures to you, my friend, no matter what. That is special, special stuff.
I'd like to buy out of our bet, please. Honestly, I had to go with Allison since he was there. But it wasn't the highest EV bet for me, but I wanted to put all my chips on my brother. But yeah, betting on Juan is always a good bet if you're trying to make some money.
Yeah, looks like, I mean, so no one had Zubov, right? So it's either going to be, actually, oh shit, it's not true. The audience is rooting for Zubov in theory for the extra 50, because if Zubov wins, it would be $100 ticket, because that's wasn't claimed in our wagering, and if Juan wins, it's 50. So.
I think that he's going to have a real hard time beating Juan heads up. I think Juan is going to just be so aggressive to the, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he can though. At the same time, like he can just,
Kind
he
of
can
free
be aggressive.
rolling.
But I think he knows the guy's got nothing to lose. The guy just scored $1 million. The guy's probably looking for variance, right? I would almost out counter with that. Juan could be not passive, but just like limp,
Play
whatever.
small
Not,
ball.
what I mean, just
Yeah.
small ball because he know if I'm Zubov, if I'm me, even whatever, anyone, if we know Juan's a world class, best of the best. Like I'm looking, that's one of the rules of thumb. If you feel you have an edge, or when you're where you match up, you want to push variance. If you're behind and this guy's plays the highest binds in the world, one of the best players, and you want a satellite, like you're looking to get in king, queen, ace, jack. You're looking to get in, a flip. You're looking to get in whatever. So here we go. King 9 hits the river, and this is a card. Let's see. The hearts miss, diamonds miss, and Juan is one of the worst hands he could have. I mean, could he go with the check here and get maybe Juan to bluff? But yeah, I mean, like I said, Juan's got a man of principle. He's got one of the worst hands, and the board bricks off. I mean, definitely a candidate to rip, to bet, right? I mean, he's got one of the worst possible hands, and the draws all miss. There it is. There we go. First part of the puzzle. Tell you Zubov's not folding top pair. Good game. The Pulse. Good game. You probably thought there's a 8% chance that was.
Well, he's like, I'm calling, and it's kind of like a troll. It's like, look, bro, I have a king. Like, I know I'm doubling up a lot, but good game, just in case. I was wondering if Juan, like, a lot of times with this obviously Juan is his own kind of unique like status of player with his experience and knowledge, but this player type has a really hard time turning it off. So we'll see if that becomes an issue for him in this heads up match. So far in the tournament, he's been very well, it's definitely going to be a big pot. He's been very aware of the shifting dynamics and very ICM aware. And honestly, it's hard to give Juan a hard time at all up to this point. I think he's played really great. The only truly out of line spot was the, I guess the Queen Jack blind versus blind, but he ended up finding the right call for all the chips. Outside of that, the 8-5 right here seems to be well played by Zubov to check the river when he hit the king, but also because most of his range wants to check, right? He's trying to show down. But the 8-5 seemed a little bit out of line. But I'm not a heads up specialist, so
for sure. No, it's well played. Well played. He's in it. Here he goes. I mean, this is no spade. Ace Jack though, looking okay flop against top two. Could be big and still may not go away. As I want to say, congrats to the winner. $100 ticket. Veronica Souza got it right. Not an easy top three to guess, right? Throwing Zubov in. Juan Pardo was top two. Okay, Barak you could find there. But getting Zubov to mix in with the top three when it's in eighth and unknown, definitely not probably many people had that right. Congrats to you, Veronica Souza. $100 going your way. Just put that in and you will be notified as well by GG on the Twitter streets. That is exciting. And again, WSOP Online Series, August 18th to September 30th. 33 events. Nice fold, discipline. Gets out of the way, was way behind. Also a spade, you got to figure the straight draw maybe dead or not good if he hits, and heads up so hard to make queen 7 off the computer hand. We'll mention that if you're new. If you've been here, you heard that. That is a dead middling hand you can kind of go off of. King 3 suited, 6-10. 6-10 going to pair the 6 with the diamond. I mean, Zubov's definitely not played like a beginner. He's got some confident 3-bets, ace-10 off in spots. He's played well. He's, got some good situations, but really, really played well, I think. And definitely not a amateur, you know what I mean? Definitely not just clicking buttons by any means. Played
he's
deservingly for this 7-figure score, and still in it. I mean, he's in it, and all of a sudden not too far behind. It went like kind of almost impossible. Seems like reasonable. Now he's not too big a dog, and heads up, as we say, not even a world-class player versus a complete amateur, right? It's no lock. So I mean, this is by no means over. He is about a 3-1 dog, which against a player who we know is more experienced, like almost no matter what. Based on online results, we know that. And I mean, Zubov did play a Triton tournament cash got fifth. I was looking up the results, over 200K scored Jeju. So, it's not like I ran up the $10 satellite all the way through and never played. Definitely confident to travel the world, play buy-ins, plays tournaments. Was at the World Series, had some scores, and plays a 10K online tournament. So capable. And this could be problematic, though. Backdoors does check, though. That's going to fare well for them in this pot. Likely to not lose too much, as a pretty big dog here needs a 4. Doesn't get it. Queen 8 winner. It's the showdown.
Yeah, unlikely any more money will go in here. And so in case you guys don't know, once your head's up, it's all chip EV, baby. There's no more ICM. So people have when they started having tools in the clients to chop, people would always like try to look at different numbers heads up, like what's ICM, what's chip EV? Heads up, they're the same. So it's really just a battle for all the chips at this point. And obviously, yeah, they're playing for 400K straight up. 400K sit and go. 3-1 dog. Can you do it? If I was in this situation, obviously, if I'm playing against Juan, he's not going to chop. But like, I wouldn't mind doing like a save, like a partial chop, play it out for the rest or something, just to reduce some of the variance. But yeah, if you end up heads up against, it's almost like if you can't chop, in some ways, it's like you really actually get to test yourself and to get some like hard-earned experience of like, all right, 400K on the line, let's go. You don't get that opportunity too often. I know even for the tournament that I won, I know my opponent was going to go all in for 50 big blinds. Like at least every 3 hands, he was just going to go all in. That was how he played. So I was like trying to reduce variance. I sold some of my action heads up just because I knew I was going to run like a 60-40, 50-50, 70-30 for 50 blinds. So that's kind of way that I approach things, is like, once you find yourself in that position, then you want to kind of reduce the variance. But when you have a huge edge, there's nothing wrong with pushing that edge if it's not like life-changing money. So he's just going to go for some thin value here. The queen I imagine he's going to get a lot of like hero calls, right? Playing against him, like you're just going to have to look him up with a lot of different hands.
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't have a spade, you don't have a 10, a jack, you don't have a club, you have ace high. It's heads up poker. It's a reasonable price. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things point to call, but good fold. This like makes discipline and makes the right fold. It's always nice. There's been some great decision making. Again, I see it time and time again. Close spots where I'm even like see the cards and I'm like, I don't know what I would do with the cards up, and it's just these guys just make so many good decisions.
These are this like, if Juan keeps picking up hands, it's just like, I mean, this might be GG. If he finds a check call, yeah, I'm trying to think of how this could play out where he doesn't go broke, but a lot of money's about to go in. Is it okay if I do another giveaway, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, look, listen, audience, if I see enough no's in the chat for a giveaway from Mike, we're not going to allow it. Otherwise, I'm going to accept a giveaway. And
this will be fun.
It could be, you got to earn it. You got top pair versus over pair, and he needs help.
Do it quick.
8, 9, or 6, but you can give it away for sure.
Yeah, I'll give away. So the last giveaway, the person contacted me. I asked for payment details, and they ghosted me for payment details. So I will give away the other 50. So $100 giveaway. You can follow me at StrungOut12 on Twitter.
Hold the giveaway. Let's see if we're going to play some more poker. This is going to be over. Clean turn. River, big favorite for the champion.
He's got some equity.
Can he do it? No. Wait, it looks scary.
No.
What is it? It's
5.
Oh, 5. It is
That's
safe.
it.
The champion, Juan Pardo Dominguez. My first pick today. I put some units on him. What a performance. Dominant, played well, made a hero call, and then Made some big folds too, just absolutely crazy. He's got his avatar, he's jumping, doing special stuff. He's showing us special stuff. He's got over 20 million GG earnings. He's done it all live. He is a monster. Congrats to you, my friend. Open invitation to come on the show anytime. Love to have you here. Love to talk through some of that. And Mike has got a giveaway as well. We're going to be mentioning here as well. Let you do that while we're closing out. Looks like everyone's good with the giveaway. Everyone wants to see that. What do you got, Mike, before we're going to do a recap of this final table?
Yeah, congrats, Juan. Well played. Yeah, you can follow me at StrungOut12. I'll do another $50 on top of what Jeff is doing, and then if the person doesn't respond to me by Friday night, then I'll give away the other 50. So it'll be a $100 giveaway.
Well, okay, yeah. You heard it first, and tell me.
Let's do it.
Tell me about the odds today. What stood out? I mean, Zubov gave a run for the money, where you see the position he took second. He was 20-1. Would be quite a sweat if you threw that in there. Barak takes third, 8.8. I believe Barak started in maybe fifth. Pavel also 11.88 was in the mix down the stretch. Well, are you surprised with some of the pricing looking at it? Do you think it was reasonable? And overall, like, where anything stand out for value after watching the table, let's say?
Yeah, Allison seemed overpriced. I'm not sure why that was. Only by a little bit, but I'm curious to know what caused that. Barak was 8.8 to 1. That seems reasonable because he didn't have a ton of chips coming in, so he overperformed. Zubov obviously overperformed. If you bet on him, you just made a killing, right? He was 20 to 1.
Well, that's to win, though, right? You had a chance. You were 20-1 to win.
Yeah.
So you got a very nice sweat. You got a nice sweat, even at the end
didn't
there
win
for
anything.
a big pop, but didn't quite pan out. And again, we appreciate everyone. We did announce the winner. I want to say congrats to the GG Twitter winner for $100. Made a great pick. The top three. That's each week on GG Poker on the Twitter X platform. You can bet, and that was Veronica Souza. Got it right. She guessed Juan, Alexander, Barak. I think even got the order right, which isn't necessary. Takes it down. $100 ticket. Cheers to you. And again, so much fun. Saw some amazing hands, like the special stuff. Going to be breaking down more of that next week. We'll take a look at the winning hand. We're going to be previewing some of the hands. We're going to look at the final table. That will be 30 minutes earlier than normal, 2:15 Eastern. I got my man Jonathan Jaffe confirmed. Also, Lucky Chewy
awesome.
The week after. Big treat, man. First time he'll be coming on the podcast. Legend Octopi Poker. Shout out to those guys, what they're doing with breaking down poker and video and analysis. Super cool stuff. So again, Mr. Wasserman, thank you so much. Appreciate the time. 6-time guest. Very generous with his time. Has his coaching, Mid-Stakes Mastery. Give him a follow. He's doing a giveaway himself on Twitter. And so many heroes in the chat. Appreciate everyone. Really enjoyed it. Thank you to all those that hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe. Still 1,000 on right now. 200 plus hit the thumbs up. Kudos, cheers, and big events. Last thing I'll say, August 18th, September 30th, WSOP online now. GG and WSOP have merged. GG has acquired the WSOP, and it's going right now. Next 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks in poker are going to be special. Big online tournaments, big action. Good luck to everyone playing. Let us know if you have any sweats, and I will see you all next week. Mike, you're a legend. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you, guys. I hope I filled in for whoever the guest was and did an adequate job.
We always love having you.
All right.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.